elections, the United States of America have gone to the polls to cast their votes on who becomes the leader of their nation, and we will look at the elections and how it even affects those of us who are not in America. We'll also be looking at the beverages industry, the food and beverages industry today on Business Fix. Earlier this year, the food and beverages industry requested some things from government when the year started, saying that it would affect the way their work is done. We also spoke with them on various occasions about how their industry is faring as we near Christmas, and we know that Christmas is for food, is for beverages. We enjoy ourselves during Christmas. We'll speak with them and see how far their business is going, even how far us as consumers will enjoy from their industry. We'll also be looking at the various polls that have happened. We'll be perusing the latest poll from the Global Info Analytics. And then when we come to Ghana Speaks, we will look at whose manifesto resonates with you, where we'll open the phone line so that you let us know whose manifesto resonates with you. When we open the phone lines, you can call us on 053-916-1609. So this is what we have for you this morning on ABC in the morning. We're looking forward to a very interactive and impactful show. Let's take a break. We will be back soon. You're still watching ABC in the morning. Let's take a look at what is on the various news portals this morning. On ABC News GH reports police probe Nima commander over alleged NDC endorsement. Friday, November 8th, not a public holiday. The Minister for Interior says so. And the police pursue TikTokers over false claims about Salifu Amoako-San's location. That is on ABC News GH. On myjoyonline.com, judiciary needs a clear communication to avoid misinterpretation, says UN envoy. 3 teenage girls arrested for allegedly killing 16-year-old BC graduate. And Ghana detects 34,000 new HIV infections within 9 months of 2024. On City Newsroom, EC recruits over 200 professionals to help collate results for this 2024 elections. And Trump leads in key swing states in bid to retake White House. And this is about the US elections. And Spiogabra tells the IGP, don't deploy masked men to polling stations. That's what Spiogabra says to the IGP. Let's see what's on africannews.com. Kenya, China hold bilateral talks in Nairobi as Kenya requests China support to join BRICS. And Tinubu orders release of child protesters. Equatorial Guinea official arrested over 400 sex tapes with president's sister and other high-profile women. Let's also see what's on CNN. Republicans take the Senate. CNN reports Republicans take the Senate, and this is about the elections. And today on CNN's website, it is more about the elections. Let's see what they report from the world. China's state media focuses on U.S. divisions as America awaits election results. Netanyahu fires Israeli defense minister after months of clashes over war and politics. And that's what is also on CNN. So these are some of the things on the various news portals. For more news, visit our website www.abcnewsgh.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back with Front Story. You're welcome back and watching ABC in the morning live on ABC News GH. Straight into our front story, we are looking at Parliament again. For a couple of weeks now, the conversation has been all about Parliament, the declaration of seats vacant, the courts asking Speaker to stay the execution of his declaration, Speaker also going back to court and the court taking its decision. At the moment, Speaker is set to reconvene Parliament tomorrow, but MP for South Dai, Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo, has sued Speaker over these vacant seats controversy, and he has dragged the Speaker of Parliament, his Right Honorable Alban Badbin, to court, seeking, among other things, the declaration that recalling Parliament while the status of 4 members of Parliament are not known will be unlawful and illegal. He is also seeking a declaration that any post-17 October 2024 composition of the 8th Parliament with the said 4 members of Parliament who have declared to contest as independent candidates is unlawful. In a writ filed on Monday, November 4, the legislator argued that the domination of the applications at the Electoral Commission to go as independent candidates means they have vacated their seats. There is currently a constitutional crisis as Parliament is unable to sit following the Speaker of Parliament's ruling that declared some 4 seats vacant due to those MPs filing to contest as independent candidates in the next Parliament. But that ruling on October 17, 2024 has since been stayed by the Supreme Court on 18 October following an ex parte application by Alexander Apenyo-Markin. The 4 MPs in question are Andrew Amakwe-Siama, MP for Fomena, Cynthia Mamle-Morrison, MP for Agona West, Kwadwo Asante, MP for Suhum, and Peter Yaw Kwachiaka, MP for Amenfi Central. Let us take a look at some of the reliefs that the plaintiff is praying the court for. The plaintiff being Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo. The reliefs he is expecting. He is expecting a declaration confirming the vacancy of the parliamentary seat of Mr. Andrew Amakwe-Siama, MP for Fomena, Mrs. Cynthia Mamle-Morrison, MP for Agona West, Mr. Kwadwo Asante, MP for Suhum, and Mr. Peter Yaw Kwachiaka, MP for Amenfi Central, by the ruling of the defendants made on the 17th of October 2024 on the floor of Parliament of the 4th Republic. He's also praying a declaration that the independent member of Parliament for the Fomena constituency in the Ashanti region, Honorable Andrew Amakwe-Siama, has vacated his seat in Parliament by filing nomination forms with the Electoral Commission to contest the upcoming election on the ticket of the NPP. Also, a declaration that the Member of Parliament for the Aguna West constituency in the Central Region, Honorable Cynthia Mamle Morrison, has vacated her seat in Parliament by filing nomination forms with the Electoral Commission to contest the upcoming election as an independent candidate for the Aguna West constituency. Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafiameto is also praying a declaration that the NPP MP of Parliament for the Suhum constituency in the Eastern Region, Honorable Kwadwo Asante, has vacated his seat in Parliament by filing nomination forms with the Electoral Commission to contest the upcoming election as an independent candidate for the Suhum constituency. A declaration that the National Democratic Congress MP of Parliament, MP for the Amenfi Central constituency in the Western Region, Honorable Peter Yaokwachiaka, has vacated his seat in Parliament by filing nomination forms with the Electoral Commission to contest the upcoming election as an independent candidate for the Amenfi Central constituency. Also, a declaration that any post 1st October 2024 composition of the 8th Parliament of the Fourth Republic with the said 4 ex-members of Parliament is unlawful, and a declaration that any parliamentary proceedings involving the said 4 ex-members of Parliament of the Fourth Republic is unlawful and illegal. A declaration that recalling Parliament while the status of the said 4 ex-members of the 8th Parliament of the Fourth Republic remains undetermined by pending processes before the Supreme Court and High Court would be unlawful and illegal. And a declaration that pursuant to the Constitution of Ghana 1992, Article 99, Clause 1, Subclause A, it is the High Court which has the sole jurisdiction to hear and determine all disputes arising of a declaration of ruling by the Speaker of Parliament that a seat has become vacant, and a declaration that the filing of nomination forms with the Electoral Commission by the independent Member of Parliament for the Formina constituency in the Ashanti region, who held the position of the second Deputy Speaker of Parliament in the 8th Parliament of the Fourth Republic of Ghana, Honorable Andrew Isiama Amwakun, to contest the Formina parliamentary seat on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party in the upcoming general elections and parliamentary elections on the 7th of December, amounted to a vacation of his seat. A declaration that the filing of nomination forms with the Electoral Commission by the Member of Parliament for the Aguna West constituency in the Central Region on the ticket of the NPP in the 8th Parliament of the Fourth Republic of Ghana, Honorable Cynthia Mamle Morrison, to contest the Aguna West parliamentary seat as an independent parliamentary candidate in the upcoming general elections on the 7th of December 2024, amounted to a vacation of a parliamentary seat. Also, a declaration that the filing of nomination forms with the Electoral Commission by the Member of Parliament for the Suhum constituency in the Eastern Region on the ticket of the NPP in the 8th Parliament of the Fourth Republic of Ghana, Honorable Kwadwo Asante, to contest the Suhum parliamentary seat as an independent parliamentary candidate in the upcoming general elections on the 7th of December 2024, amounted to a vacation of his parliamentary seat. And a declaration that the filing of nomination forms with the Electoral Commission with the Electoral Commission by the Member of Parliament for the Amenfi Central constituency in the Western Region on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress in the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana, Honorable Peter Kwachi Aka, to contest the Amenfi Central Constituency seat as an independent parliamentary candidate in the upcoming general elections on 7th December 2024, amounted to a vacation of his parliamentary seat and an order directed at the defendant to ensure that Mr. Andrew Amoako Esiama, Member of Parliament for Mena, Cynthia Mamle Morrison, Member of Parliament for Agona West, Mr. Kwadwo Asante, Member of Parliament for Suhum, and Mr. Peter Kwachi Aka, Member of Parliament for Amenfi Central, no longer have access to the Chamber of Parliament to participate in parliamentary proceedings. Meanwhile, Parliament is expected to reconvene on Thursday, November 7, after a petition by the NPP caucus in Parliament requesting for an emergency sitting. This will be the first meeting after Speaker Babin announced the indefinite adjournment of the House on Tuesday, October 22. The concerns on the minds of many people remain whether the Speaker will yield or conform to the Supreme Court's order of stay of execution on his declaration of 4 parliamentary seats as vacant. The Speaker is also set to address the media in Parliament at 6 p.m. today and is very much likely to state his position on all the legal issues that have riddled the vacancies declaration he made a few weeks ago. We are trying to establish contact with lawyer Nipakpo Samoa Ado. He is the lawyer for the plaintiff, Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo, so that we understand to what end Honorable Nelson is expecting this suit to get to. But although we haven't reached him, this is how far we have come with the declaration of seat. Speaker is set to reconvene Parliament tomorrow. Today at 6 p.m., Speaker is set to meet the press to deliver the state of Parliament to the press. But before that, Honorable Nelson Dafiamekpo has sued Speaker over the declaration of those seats as vacant. These seats were declared vacant after the NDC invoked Article 97, clauses H and G, which was about the declaration of some 4 vacant seats, 3 MPP seats, 1 NDC seat. The Speaker subsequently declared those seats vacant, which reduced the NPP seats to 135 and reduced the NDC seats to 136, making NDC have more MPs in Parliament. To that effect, the NDC said that they were the majority in Parliament. The leader for the NPP caucus in Parliament took the matter to the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court said that they have the jurisdiction to interpret the provision in the Constitution. So they asked Speaker to stay his declaration of those seats vacant. The Speaker in turn also wrote to the court because Speaker believed that what he had done was in line. The court subsequently dismissed it, and this is where we are. Before they even headed to court, Speaker, when he reconvened Parliament, said that he was adjourning Parliament indefinitely. After the court's verdict or declaration, the NPP had written to Speaker to recall Parliament for an emergency sitting. The Speaker indeed has recalled Parliament, and Parliament is set to reconvene tomorrow. Ahead of tomorrow's meeting, Speaker today is meeting the press to give them the state of Parliament, where many are expecting that Speaker will make his intentions clear, whether he is going to indeed stay his execution or he's going to continue as is. Honorable Nelson Roxanne Dafiamekpo from the NDC's caucus in Parliament has, however, sued Speaker over these controversies. He believes that Speaker is on the right path, and Speaker also, in another breath, calling Parliament to sit is not the right thing to do at the moment. So we're looking forward to seeing how all of these play out today and tomorrow. Many have had various conversations about this, raised concerns about all of this and how better it makes our parliament or not. So let's speak with the lawyer for Honorable Roxy Nelson Dafia-Mekpo. He is lawyer Nii Kpakpo Samoa Ado. Good morning, lawyer. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
We're grateful for your time this morning.
By God's grace, I hope you're also doing well.
I'm fine, thank you. To begin, can you please walk us through the constitutional basis for this lawsuit against the Speaker of Parliament?
Well, the constitutional basis is quite simple. There is Article 97, which is now before the Supreme Court for interpretation, right? Okay. And there's Article 99, which talks about the fact that where there's a dispute or where there's a dispute arising out of what? An election of an MP or whether a vacancy has occurred, then you go to the High Court for the interpretation. So we are in the High Court seeking declarations to that effect.
Okay, but the Supreme Court says that it has jurisdiction over this case. It has.
No, the Supreme Court has jurisdiction to interpret the Constitution, and that's what exactly they are doing.
Okay.
And somebody who is in the High Court seeking, seeking to have the Article 99 applied in this case. So there are two different jurisdictions that have been invoked. But let us also concede, if the decision of the Supreme Court on November 11th goes ahead to touch on the substance of the matters before the High Court as well, i.e., if it goes ahead to interpret it in such a way that the High Court has to apply what the Supreme Court has said, then it will affect our case one way or the other. But if the Supreme Court simply deals with just the interpretation and decides that it will not go into the merits of the current case, then the High Court will have to deal with that particular aspect.
Okay. Lawyer, many see this lawsuit as a stalling tactic, given that there's been an indication from the Supreme Court that it will present its interpretation of Article 97 a few days from now. Should it happen as communicated, wouldn't the verdict or outcome override whatever decision that this decision might yield? You have said that there may be some places where there will be an overlap, but in the grand scheme of things,
if the Supreme Court gives a decision that affects the decision in the High Court, automatically the High Court case will become moot.
So why won't you wait for the Supreme Court to make a decision yet?
I believe the citizen has exercised his right to access the courts of Ghana to have Article 99 applied in respect of a particular matter.
Okay.
And he is saying that based on the Constitution, certain seats in Parliament have become vacant. Somebody also goes to the Supreme Court for an interpretation that the Speaker does not have the right to interpret the Constitution, that it is the Supreme Court that must interpret the Constitution, and is seeking an interpretation of Article 97. So I think that we must all learn to respect everybody's right to access the courts. And as I've already indicated, if the Supreme Court makes a pronouncement that affects the High Court decision, automatically the High Court case becomes moot. Let's just try.
Lawyer, given the constitutional crisis we find ourselves in,
are you in a constitutional crisis?
Well, some have said that indeed we are in a constitutional crisis.
What is a constitutional crisis?
So you don't believe we are in a constitutional crisis?
I don't know what a constitutional crisis is. Parliament sits to pass laws all the time. And so if Parliament is on a recess, Parliament is on a recess because the Speaker has adjourned sitting, because there was not a working quorum at the last time. I don't see how that would have been, how that will affect. And Parliament is supposed to sit today, tomorrow anyway. So let's wait and see what Mr. Speaker will do.
Okay. We should wait and see what Mr. Speaker will do. But isn't the plaintiff seeking the High Court to accept the powers of the Supreme Court? Would you agree with those concerns?
How is that possible? Because the person who went to the Supreme Court went to invoke a particular jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Is that not correct?
Yes.
Exactly. And if you look at Article 99, it says if you want to have if there's a vacancy arising out of Article 97, the forum for adjudicating whether there's a vacancy is the High Court. So if somebody also decides to go to the High Court, I'm wondering how that becomes a problem. Why is it that somebody goes to the Supreme Court under Article 97 and that's not a problem, but somebody goes to the High Court under Article 99 and that's the problem? Two different courts, two different matters.
Okay. We are grateful for your time this morning, Lawyer Ado. We are looking forward to seeing how far the case goes and to having more conversations with you following it. Lawyer Need Pato Samoa Ado is the lawyer for Honorable Roxy Nelson Dafia Metpo, who is the MP for South Zai. He has dragged the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, to court over the vacant seats controversy. In our conversation, he doesn't believe, as others have said, that we are in a constitutional crisis. He said that this case that has gone to the High Court, if the Supreme Court, in making their declarations in a few days to come, if their declaration has a bearing on what is happening in the High Court, of course they will accept it, or they will know that indeed it has a bearing. But at the moment, they have also taken, they have gone to court as they are allowed, as a citizen can go to court. They've gone to the High Court to seek certain reliefs or praying the court to do certain things that's established in the writ I read earlier. We're looking to see how far this goes, this court case goes, especially as today Speaker is meeting the press. Tomorrow Speaker will reconvene Parliament, and in a few days we will hear from the Supreme Court when it interprets the Article 97. There's more on this conversation which doesn't end today. We'll do well in our subsequent broadcast, bring more on the conversation and speak with the stakeholders involved in this conversation. This is all for Front Story. Stay with us. We'll be back in a jiffy. ABC News GH. Let's go for the latest in sports and also what we have for you on Tech Trick this morning. For sports, Derek Kumi Kisid will be bringing us all of the latest, and on Tech Trick, Eric Melo Trineboa is on hand to give us everything we need for a better tech experience. They are up next with sports and Tech Trick.
mid-year budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently here at Kamishi.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
3, 2, 1.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
Hello there, good morning and welcome to the sports segment here on ABC in the morning. I am Derek Kumikisi. Now let's get started. As the Ghana Football Association has taken note of false reports being circulated by the association, has met that the German coach is negotiating remunerating with him. The association wishes to state clearly that the reports are entirely false. The GFA president do not meet with any coach during the recent trip to Germany. The purpose of his visit was to engage with representatives of Puma, the long-standing official kit sponsor of the Black Stars, to discuss matters of mutual interest and strengthen their partnership. GFA respectively urged the media and the general public to disregard these unfounded rumors and refrain from spreading them. And now the 2024-25 Women's FA Cup kick off its round of 64 this weekend, featuring 3 thrilling Premier League derbies. Reigning champions Army Ladies begin their title defense with a rematch of last season's final against Police Ladies. The highly anticipated Bono Derby between Prisons Ladies and Ampem Dakwan Ladies promises another electrifying encounter, whilst Jonina Football Academy hosts FC Epiphany Warrior in an Premier League clash at the Anteku AstroTurf. The round of 64 matches will take place from November 8 to 11, 2024 across various venues. Real Madrid's challenging start to the season has continued after Carlo Ancelotti have lost for the second time in 4 Champions League matches. The Italian coach reunion with his former club was not a happy one, as his side was defeated 3-1 by AC Milan at the Santiago Bernabeu. Milan took the lead inside 12 minutes in the Spanish capital. It was a dream start for the visitors, although Real Madrid would respond soon after Vinicius Jr. Scored from the penalty spot. He has also won the sports kick, having been fouled by Emerson Royal. However, Milan would lead at halftime after Alvaro Morata found the net against his former club. Rafael's initial effort was parried by Andre Lunin, which allowed the Spanish striker to score easily. It got even better for Milan on 73 minutes when they went 3-1 ahead. Leo was against at the heart of things, as his driving run ended with a cross to Tijani, who fired past Lunin after being left with a lot of space inside the Real Madrid's penalty area. Antonio Rudiger did score late on, but it was ruled out for offside by VAR. Real Madrid could do nothing further, which means that it also back-to-back defeat for Angelito's side, following on from their dismissal 4-0 loss in El Clasico. Well, that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on ABC in the morning. For more sports updates, please follow our website at www.abcnewsgh.com. I am Derek Kumikisiedu.
Mid-year budget review with some key
We
allocations.
are currently here at Permission.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
Two to one.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently here at Permission.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
Two to one.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
Welcome to the Tech Trick segment here on ABC in the morning. I am Eric Mello, and it's time to bring you some tech news. So today on Tech Trick, okay, we want to share with you how to get the right answers to your questions when asking WhatsApp AI questions. This looks quite simple, as many of you have actually tried it, but it also can be very complicated. That's because most of you fail to abide by the guidelines. So here we are, and we're actually going to give you some 5 guidelines to help you use this AI WhatsApp effectively to interact with your friends and also get some answers to your interesting questions that you've asked. So let's begin right here with the first one. So clearly, you also have to define your questions or goal. So before interacting with the AI, define what you want to achieve or ask. So be specific and also concise and break down the complex question into smaller ones. You don't have to write a whole texts for WhatsApp AI. It will sometimes not give you the exact answer you're looking for. So most often, just be concise, be crisp, just go direct or straight to the question. Then it can as well provide you with the answers that you want. Okay, it's very simple, but it can be very complicated. Okay, so on to the next one. When using WhatsApp AI to ask a question, you also have to use your natural language and actually break it into simpler terms that can actually make the communication very easy, so your answers can be provided in the best way you can understand. So use everyday language and avoid jargons and technical terms unless necessary. Now, simple means by avoiding these things could be the fact that most of you like to use shortcuts like short handwritings, jargons that that's WhatsApp AI may not necessarily understand exactly what you're trying to put out over there. So it's always very appropriate that once you're asking a question, I mean, who wants to be asked a question in a jargon form? Assuming you're asking me a question or you're putting into writing and you've written something I actually have no idea about. We know the Gen Z kind of tactics of asking questions or writing, but that's not how it works when it comes to certain technologies. AI is equally like that. So just write it in a sentence form that it can understand, and limit the jargon phrases and sentences so that it can also provide you with the valid answers to your questions. All right. Let's move on. Again, you also have to provide relevant context, the background information or context to help you with the AI to understand your or situation. Now, this also enables more accurate and relevant responses. Okay, so assuming you want to ask a question about the US election, and you're asking, Ghana is also about to have an election, but let me just use the US election because that's what actually is brewing, in most parts of the country. So you're asking the question, who is leading in terms of the election? It's a good answer. It's a good question, but you also would have to do a follow-up question, or perhaps you also have to give into detail what exactly you're looking for. So after that, then you're actually coming back to your next tactic. That means that you have to also ask a follow-up question. Don't be afraid, okay? I mean, if you asked a first question, it also has to follow up with a subsequent question. So what you're actually looking for as an answer from WhatsApp AI could be very, very, appropriate to suit your explanation, okay? So ask a follow-up question. Don't be afraid to ask questions or clarify previous responses. Now, this helps you refine the AI's understanding and also provides more precise answers. It's very easy. Most often on social social media, most people, come on social media and be like, I asked AI this question. I want to eat banku. This is technology. AI may not necessarily know what banku is, so maybe you can add Ghanaian delicacy banku. Maybe it may be providing you a history or background. It's very simple. But most of you go straight to WhatsApp and it's like you want to play with the technology, and the answers it provides you feel irritated about it. It's because you don't give valid questions for it to also provide you with accurate answers. All right. Now let's move on to the fifth one. You always also have to evaluate and refine, assess the AI's responses, and also refine your questions accordingly. So if you are sure or unsure, rephrase or seek additional information to ensure that you arrive at the desired outcome, it means that WhatsApp AI will be very much easier for your questions and answers over there. It's very easy. Sometimes using these technologies can be complex. WhatsApp actually, I haven't seen anything that's much easier. It's quite very much easier when using WhatsApp AI as compared to the ChatGPT. A lot of you have been caught using to even write your exams and even fill certain applications and all of that. This WhatsApp is more extensive. Okay, it actually gives you understanding on what to expect, especially if you ask a question. Okay, so taking into consideration all the things that we've talked to you so far, it means that AI also Meta does not link your personal WhatsApp account information on Facebook or Instagram or any other app provided by Meta. There's this misconception that is actually going to link your personal information or personal account onto Facebook, Instagram, or other platform. But what actually is the case is what you send generative AI feature may not also be used to provide you with the accurate response or to improve the model. So do not also send messages with informations you don't know about. Like if you have any much information about the things you're saying or asking, I think it will be best you don't even ask AI at all, because the information it will be providing you with, you may not even get it accurately and you will be left in limbo. And you've asked the question, so that's exactly what it will provide. So the AI is trained to limit the possibility of information about people, like names, for example, from showing up in other chats. Now, you can also delete your AI messages by typing reset all AIs in your conversations. Okay? Reset all AI in your conversation. It's that simple. So generative AI is a new technology, and it's very important also to keep in mind that responses may not accurate or appropriate. Yes, is a technology, is a 50-50 thing. So the information that it will give to you may not necessarily attach or be the reality on the ground, but at least it gives you a brief understanding, a very concise background of what you're expecting. So please provide feedback to help improve these systems, and of course response for yourself and other. And that's all for today's Tech Trick. I am Eric Chinibwa Melo. ABC Morning continues shortly right after this. You have a good morning.
Mid-year budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently here at Permission
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
3, 2, 1.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia #1 on the ballot. Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia #1 on the ballot. 2017, the NPP inherited a fragmented digital infrastructure that limited public service efficiency. Since then, we've revolutionized how services are delivered with the Ghana card and mobile money interoperability, enhancing speed and accessibility. Our efforts have greatly improved government interactions, making life easier for every Ghanaian. However,
to ABC in the morning, live on ABC News GH. We're entering into the elections, and it's your voice that matters. We want to hear your voice alone. That's why on Ghana Speaks, we give you the opportunity to speak to us. Up next is Ghana Speaks.
Times are hard in Ghana, extremely hard.
As we gear towards the 2024 general elections, there have been conversations around having a presidential debate. Will it happen or not? This is Ghana Speaks.
This is Ghana Speaks, and this morning you can call us on 053-916-1609, 053-916-1609. When you call us, kindly turn down the volume of your TV or even turn it off totally. After the conversation, you can turn it back on. But we are asking you this question this morning: whose manifesto has impressed you the most? Whose manifesto has impressed you the most? We get into the elections in about 30 days. December 7, Ghana will go to the polls to decide who leads the nation. At the moment, whose manifesto has impressed you the most, and what part of the manifesto are you more excited about? Call us on 053-916-1609. It's your voice alone we want to hear this morning on Ghana Speaks. And your reminder that the poll center is here for you. ABC News GH Poll Center. We'll be looking at previous elections and tying it into the lead up to this year's elections. For all of your credible news and information, it is the poll center you should be paying critical attention to, because we will provide you up-to-date conversations on everything surrounding the conversations. At the poll center, we say votes, not violence. It's because we place premium on what we're going to do on December 7. It's all about our thumbs and where we decide to print our thumbs. So on December 7, you go to the ballot, you go to your polling station alone. You go, you collect your ballot paper after you've been verified and all, and you decide who leads you in your constituency and also who leads the nation. Don't be used as a tool or a conduit for violence before, during, and after the elections. The elections is all about using your thumb. It's not about the words you use, the unprintable words. It's not about coming to fisticuffs. It's not about fighting. Nope. It's just all about your voice. and your voice being your thumb. Let your thumb speak for you. If anything must make a decision for you, it must be your thumb. Come December 7, you choose any of the 13 candidates on that ballot paper. You decide who to vote for, whether number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You decide who to vote for. And on Poll Center, be rest assured that we will provide you with all of the relevant information that you need ahead of the elections. But this morning, we want to hear your voice. Have your say on Ghana Speaks. Whose manifesto resonates with you? Whose manifesto resonates with you? Hello, good morning. Your name and which constituency are you calling from?
Thank you very much. Good morning to your cherished viewers and listeners. This is Mausi from Ho Central.
Hello, sir. I'm unable to hear you clearly. Can you please speak up?
Yeah, this is Mausi calling from Ho Central.
Hello, Mausi. Whose manifesto resonates with you? Whose manifesto has impressed you the most?
I have two.
Okay.
That of the NDC and the New Force.
Okay. Their manifestos resonate with you. What about
Of
their
course,
manifestos? What is in it?
I see the NDC to be a party that walks the talk.
Okay.
When you look at Mahama, when he came to power, he had few years to really work. I think barely 3 years because of the court case that embattled him. But he did marvelously well. I mean, it is quite clear the things he did. So he is someone, having looked at his pedigree and what he has done, that whatever he says now, he will do. If he's not able to, at least 60 to 70% will be seen.
Okay.
Cheddar or the New Force, I see to be very detailed, and he has a very good plan. And if that young guy is also given a chance, which I don't think he will get now, but he has substance to offer, any reasonable party can just rally behind this guy or even steal from him and implement. And trust me, Ghana will be better.
Okay.
So these two guys must be looked at critically. Right. And I would like to touch on the other parties.
Oh, no, Mausi, we just needed whose manifesto resonates with you. Since you've given us the two parties and you've also explained why the manifestos resonate with you, we are grateful for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So Mausi from Ho Central, he says the NDC's and the New Forces manifestos resonate with him. You can call us. You too call us on 0539161609, 0539161609, and have your say. Tell us whose manifesto resonates with you. We are asking you the manifestos that resonate with you. Okay, we have a caller. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, I'm speaking from Western North. Can you please hear me?
You are speaking from Western North. What is your name?
My name is Ezekiel.
Ezekiel, whose manifesto has impressed you the most?
The problem we have in Africa, especially Ghana, is NPP and NDC.
Sir, I'm asking whose manifesto has impressed you?
You see, please, right now, as I'm speaking to you now, I have not heard any manifesto that, go with my mind.
Okay, so none of the manifestos has resonated with you.
But I think that man, New Force, that man will do better for Ghana because, NBC and NPP has nothing good to offer Ghana.
All right. Okay.
Please, I'm speaking from Sefi Awaso. And Kumba made a railway line from Awaso to Takoradi. These weak people, NPP and NDC, have sold the railway line for scrap dealers. There is no.
Do you have any evidence to what you're saying?
Madam, for somebody to remove a railway line from Awaso to Takoradi, how can somebody remove a railway line from Awaso to Takoradi where you have a police, we have a military, We have the assemblyman. Me, ordinary person like me, I cannot do that.
Well,
if there is no
that's still.
support,
We'll still need some evidence to that. So if you have any evidence, we'll be glad to receive them. You can
see,
send
the problem we
us.
have in Africa is the truth. We don't want to speak the truth, right? So if you don't believe me, why can't you send some of your reporters to come to Awaso, Ghana Bauxite, Awaso,
Sir,
and
that's why I asked if there is any evidence to that, and asking that you can't.
Yes, I have evidence because the railway is not there. The railway is not there. That is evidence.
Thank you. We are grateful. Thank you for calling this morning. You can also 053-916-1609. Tell us whose manifesto has impressed you. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, good morning.
Please, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Kumasi, Kwadaso.
Okay.
My name is Mr. Otin.
Mr. Otin, whose manifesto has impressed you the most?
Nana Kwame Bediako.
Okay.
Look at the young guy. He has the vision to lead. It's good for Ghanaians to vote for that guy. Look at the 12 pillars of manifesto, like gold system. It is very, very important. It will bring the good economy to the nation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for calling this morning. Whose manifesto impresses you or has impressed you the most? We are heading into the elections December 7. Call us on 053-916-1609. 053-916-1609. Whose manifesto has impressed you the most? You tell us. Hello, your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Jacob. I'm calling from Ashaiman.
Jacob from Ashaiman. Whose manifesto has impressed you ahead of the elections?
John Mahama.
John Mahama's manifesto.
Yes.
Okay. What about his manifesto?
Pardon?
What is in the manifesto that has
John
impressed
John
you?
Mahama.
Please speak up so I can hear you. Okay, we've lost him, but he says that John Mahama's manifesto has impressed him the most. His policies, he says, building Ghana. We have another caller. Hello, your name and where you're calling from? Hello?
My name is Habib.
Habib, where are you calling from?
Habib, I'm calling from Northern Region, Wellington.
Okay, whose manifesto has impressed you the most?
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. What about his manifesto? What about it?
His manifesto is very interesting. Very, very interesting.
How so? There are so many things captured in the manifesto. So when you say it is interesting, what do you mean?
Yes, we Northerners, it isn't that we are voting on tribalism, but the implementation of the free senior high school is the best.
Okay, all right.
And then the digitalization is also part of.
Okay, so it is the.
I think I will go for Bawumia.
You go for Bawumia. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
So much. Thank you. Well, you can also call us and tell us who you are going for, whose manifesto has impressed you. He says that Bawumia is what has impressed them, especially because of free SHS. Call us on 053-916-1609 and tell us. But let's look at similarities in the manifestos of both the NPP and the NDC, the two major political parties. Oh, we have a caller. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Jerry. I'm calling from Somalia.
Jerry. Did you say your name is Jerry?
Yeah,
sir?
My name is Jeff. And
Jeff.
I'm calling from Somalia.
Okay, Jeff. Whose manifesto whose manifesto has impressed you the most?
So actually, I'm going in for John Dramani Mahama's manifesto.
Okay.
To reset Ghana and bring the economy back to life. Now a dollar goes for 17 cities. Things are expensive, the hardship and all those. I think.
Okay. Thank you, Jeffrey. Jeffrey says he's going for John Mahama's manifesto. And that is the manifesto that has impressed him the most. Call us 053-916-1609. Maybe we can take two more callers and then we'll be done with Ghana Speaks. Call us and let us know what is happening and what whose manifesto has impressed you the most? Whose manifesto has impressed you the most? Hello, good morning. Your name and where you are calling from?
I'm calling for Central Region. I'm Joaquin.
You are?
Joaquin, calling for Central Region.
Okay, please go on. Whose manifesto has impressed you the most?
Christian Kwabena Andrews.
Oh, Christian Kwabena Andrews. Goom. His manifesto. Okay, what about his manifesto?
He has 3 ports for us. Then, Kwame Nkrumah factories that are collapsing is trying to bring them back.
Okay.
So he has a vision that the youth can get what to do in terms of 24 hours economy they're talking about.
Okay, so that's why his manifesto resonates with you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for calling.
Right.
Okay. He says that all of the Kwame Nkrumah parties that have collapsed, he's bringing it back. So that's why Christian Kwabena Andrews resonates with him. Hello, your name and where you are calling from? Hello? Please turn down the volume of your TV set. Otherwise, you'll be lagging in the conversation.
I'm okay. I'm Jerry D.
Okay, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Tobacco.
Okay, whose manifesto has impressed you the most?
I'm calling from Tobacco.
Yes, I heard that. We heard that. Whose manifesto has impressed you the most?
John Dramani Mahama.
Okay, what about his manifesto?
The most important thing is to reset the free senior high school. That is to review. That is what I like most about it.
Okay, the review of the free senior high school.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you for calling.
Thank you.
0539161609. Let us know whose manifesto has impressed you the most. Hello, your name and where you are calling from?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Your name and where you are calling from?
Lower region.
Okay. Why manifesto na asoweni?
Baumia.
Okay. Adentra.
Me ba atro secondary school. Obo course say. Me ni say dem ba ya manako. Eno ne tono kwa na eka.
Okay.
Ka no 12 fees ya say kami ntimi ko. Want me ko enti na me say me de ma Baumia.
O de ma Baumia ye da si bebre.
Yo.
Okay. So he says Baumia's manifesto resonates because of the free SHS. But we'll be bringing you Poll Center where we say votes, not violence. Everything. We'll be chronicling all of the elections we've had in this fourth republic and tying it into this year's elections. We'll see where there is an overlap, where they all meet at an intersection and all. And also, we'll be breaking down this elections. So be with us on the Poll Center. Votes, not violence. Good morning. Your name and where you are calling from?
Yeah, good morning. I am Mohammed calling from Northern Region, Talon Yobo.
Okay. Mohammed, whose manifesto has impressed you?
John Dramani Mahama.
Okay, why?
Because I look into the free secondary school review and then the free tertiary school.
Okay. Calling Mohammed says that it is Mohammed's manifesto that has impressed them the most. That's all for Ghana Speaks. On Ghana Speaks, it's your voice that matters. Because of Poll Center, 30 days to elections. Every week we will come to a constituency where we will be bringing you ABC in the morning from that constituency. Look out for ABC News GH in your constituency. We'll sit with you and come to Ghanaians from your constituency. You have the opportunity to speak to Ghana from the comfort of your constituency. It's all part of polls. Votes, not violence. Votes, not violence. But we will bring you ABC in the morning from the comfort of your constituency. That's all for Ghana Speaks. Next is Business Fix. Welcome back. This is Business Fix. Today on Business Fix, we are looking at the food and beverages sector, and we are seeing how far they have come. They've raised various challenges right from the beginning of the year. Let's find out if their hurdles have been cleared yet, especially as we have just a few weeks into the Yuletide or the Christmas season. The Food and Beverages Association of Ghana earlier this year appealed to government to make the 2024 budget a business-friendly one. They appealed so that government will take away what they described as some nuisance taxes in the tax structure. And the president of FABAG, the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, John Awuni, was convinced that such an initiative would enable the private sector to thrive and perform sustainably. The association advocated for the cancellation of some taxes such as the COVID-19 levy tax and taxes on juices and certain foods. And the president, Reverend Awuni, said that by reviewing these taxes, it would give businesses the benefits of economies of scale production and allow them to create more jobs, which will in turn translate into more revenue. He said that if those taxes were cancelled, it would also take away the issue of smuggling of goods such as rice, sugar, and general fast-moving consumer goods, which was becoming attractive due to the over-taxation. You would also recall that importers had raised many concerns about the numerous charges and levies that they had to pay at the port, which they had no other recourse but to offload it onto consumers. We had a conversation some time ago with Reverend Awuni, and he mentioned how much business owners or stakeholders in the food and beverages industry had suffered losses during this year. And he attributed their problems to the depreciation of the cedi and all. In recent times, we spoke with him and he mentioned about the tax stamps that the GRA was bringing in. Today, let's speak with Reverend John Awuni, the president of FABAG, to find out if a few days to Christmas, some of their issues have been taken care of. Have some of these hurdles been cleared? Reverend Awuni, good morning and thank you for your time. Hello, Reverend, we are unable to hear you, so please unmute your mic so we can hear you well. Well, Reverend Awuni is the president of FABAG. We'll be speaking with him about the food and beverages industry, how far they have gotten ahead of the election. Reverend, thank you for your time this morning.
Welcome. Good morning to your listeners and good morning to your viewers as well.
We are almost entering into the Christmas season. The challenges you started raising from the beginning of 2024, a few weeks to Christmas, have the hurdles been cleared?
Absolutely no. Very good question. Absolutely no. It even appears to have been exacerbated with the depreciation of the currency. We are all very much aware that in the food and beverage sector, whatever product you buy, whether it is food or it is a drink or a beverage for that matter, you have almost over 50% taxes on it. That includes VAT, as a matter of fact. And that has not changed. The issue of high interest rates has not changed. We have currently the CD trading at almost 17 cedis to $1, and that is very, very, very massive. And that is the worrying trend of issue in among players of the industry as we move into the Christmas season. Because one usually will expect that whatever losses that you make in the course of the year, beginning of the year, you will recover. And then as the year closes. But this doesn't look so, most especially as we have the city moved within a week or two from 16 to 16.1, 16.2, finally to 17 cities in the forex bureaus. And that is a very worrying issue, because businesses are still going to suffer serious losses, because if you have most of the goods in the Ghanaian market are on credit, the retailers and the wholesalers really are not able to buy the goods on cash basis. So when they come to you as a manufacturer, they buy those goods on credit. Some are 1 week credit, some are 2 weeks credit, some are 1 month credit, depending on their credibility with the supplier. And these goods are normally sold at a certain exchange rate in mind. And so if you sell the goods out with the prediction that the exchange rate will be like 16.3 or 16.5 cedis to $1, and then you sell it out, and the retailer has taken these goods to the market, and then as the retailer is there, suddenly within a day or within a flip, now you have 17 cedis to $1, and they almost going even further than that. That means you cannot go back to the person in the market that I'm changing my price because exchange rate has changed. The one at the end in the market would may have noticed that the exchange rate has changed, and that really happens a lot. If you go to the Medina market, go to the Agbogblosu, most of the markets, the price today is different from the price yesterday, and then on and on and on. So they keep changing the prices at the retail end, but you, the supplier, you cannot go back and say that my price has changed. So whatever difference is this, as maybe the goods were sold out at 16.5 cedis, and now it is 17.1, the 0.6 pesos or so loss per product is going to massive. Extrapolate that into thousands of tons and so. So within a flip, you could lose like $1 million. Within a flip, you could lose like $2 million. And that is a very crippling phenomenon as we move into the Christmas season. As we move into the Christmas season, because one expects that demand will increase, you expect that you should lower the price so that you can have a higher rate of turnover, so as to be able to recover what losses you made in the course of the year. But that has not seemed, that will not happen, because as the city has depreciated and doesn't show any sign of abatement, there's going to continue to be an increase in price. We're going to increase the prices will go up, not because people want to take advantage of the season, but because the city has depreciated, and it simply reflects what the market is as the city against the dollar. So expect prices to go higher, whether it is food or it is beverage and whatever not. And just as last year, I remember we discussed this issue in among the media, and I said prices were going higher because the city was depreciated, and this is not going to change this year, because it's going to get.
The last time we spoke, we spoke about GRA's introduction of new tax stamp machines. You mentioned that for you in the industry, you don't mind the machines if GRA will bear the cost? Because if the members in your association or in your sector must bear the cost, it will be into millions of cedis. Has GRA taken your earlier request into consideration?
Well, we haven't had any reaction from the GRA in this respect. The digital tax stamp machine is also another major worry among industrial players, most especially as they are gathering losses from the depreciation of the currency, and also most especially as sales is low. So we are saying that we said we are not worried because the worry is not, you don't even have control, because the GRA, just like the electricity corporation, you cannot go and tell ECG that they should stop, they should introduce new meters. You don't have that right as a consumer. Their duty to supply you the product, get whatever metering devices they are supposed to get to meter your consumption, and then for you to pay the appropriate money that you are supposed to pay. So same thing to GRA. GRA have certain tax handles that are supposed to be honored by business people, are supposed to be honored by manufacturers and then the business community. And so whatever is device they will introduce for each tax handle so as to ensure that they can get the adequate amount of money. It is not within the purview of you, the businessman, to say that you don't accept it. So it is in that regard I said that we don't mind. But even though when you introduce new machines, you may distort the production processes for some time because people have to get used to the new systems and then all that. So there will be disturbances in the production system. But clearly you cannot, as a player, say that you do accept whatever device GRA is bringing in. And so I am saying that GRA are at liberty to bring in whatever devices, metering devices they want to bring in to monitor production processes so that you can get the required amount of taxes. But it should not be done at the expense of the supplier or the producer, because just as ECG brings it in, they don't come in and say that you, the consumer, we have come to change a meter and you must pay this. The meter is your meter. Every meter in your house is your meter. So GRA can also bring in their meters, whether they are digital tax stamp machines or whatever machines they are, to monitor whatever tax handles that are they're supposed to monitor, and then they get their required taxes. So GRA have not reacted, and we are seriously worried about. We don't want surprises that they wake up one morning and come in and say, we are bringing in machines, but yes, you, the supplier, you have to bear the cost. It is just abuse. If that doesn't happen, it becomes an abuse of power. Okay. Because clearly, why will I have to go and then borrow money at this high interest rates and then come and then pay for a machine just for you to monitor whatever consumption or whatever I am producing so that you can collect your required taxes? Okay. So it is, I think that GRA has to take notice of that the business community are not preventing them from introducing new machines, whether they are digital tax stamp machines or whatever machines they are. We are partners in development. The businessman, the producer, whoever is a partner in development with the GRA. And that applies in every jurisdiction. We are not enemies and we are not antagonists. We are partners. With our GRA, with our GRA, the government cannot develop. And then without the business community, GRA has nothing to collect to pass the money on to the government. So we are partners in development. We will support whatever move that they will. But it must be done with adequate consultation, with adequate consensus among the stakeholders, so that at the end of the day, whatever you are bringing in, it will be something that is agreed. In fact, in development economy, there's been a...
Reverend, we'll do well and have more conversation on the GRA tax stamp machines. Today, we just wanted to see the overview of how the year is going for you as an industry. So in our subsequent conversations, we'll come back to this GRA conversation and see how far it will go. But we are grateful for your time this morning.
Very well. Thank you very much.
Reverend John Awuni is the president for the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAG. He says that suppliers are still suffering losses because of the constant rise of the dollar against the cedi. The cedi is depreciating, and because of this, businesses are crippling. So ahead of the Christmas, the food and beverages industry will have to sell their goods at higher prices, not because they want to make so much profits off Ghanaians, but because they have to also match up with how fast the dollar is going. That's all for Business Fix. Let's take a short break. We will be back. ABC in the morning. Let's get into our discussion today. This morning, Trump wins the U.S. elections. U.S. elections 2024. We'll discuss the election, what it means, and also the implications of Trump's win on Africa's relations with the U.S. The conversation is an extensive one. We are joined by Dr. Ishmael Holobo. He is an international relations expert. Doc, you're welcome. We'll come to you very soon for more conversations on this. Trump is set to win, basically, because if you're looking at... Yes, Doc, you're welcome. We'll come to you very, very soon for the conversation.
Okay.
So the elections in the United States have historically attracted worldwide attention owing to the global implications of American policies. These electoral contests are also keenly studied by poll experts who try to gauge the subtle undercurrents that have the potential to alter the outcome of these closely fought contests. There are 538 votes in the Electoral College, and it takes 270 a majority to win the presidency. And in a race against time, United States presidential candidates Donald Trump and Kamala Harris have traversed the nation's swing states in a bid to woo undecided voters and bag crucial Electoral College votes that could win the winner of the 2024 U.S. elections. The race between Republican former President Donald Trump and Democrat Vice President Kamala Harris came down to a handful of battleground states where voters are closely divided. It's a winner-takes-all system in most states, meaning the candidate who comes out ahead gets all of the state's Electoral College votes. Maine and Nebraska are the only two states that allow the electoral vote to be split. And the number of Electoral College votes each state gets is equal to its total number of U.S. senators and representatives in Congress. This means each state gets at least 3, while states with larger populations get more. The District of Columbia also gets 3, although it has no voting members in Congress. As it stands now, Trump's edge grows in the race to 270. Donald Trump will win the battleground states of Pennsylvania, Georgia, and North Carolina, as the CNN projects, shrinking Kamala Harris's possible path to victory. Trump and Harris each need at least 270 electoral votes to win the presidency. And vote counting continues in key states, including in the other battleground states of Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nevada. Meanwhile, Republicans will win control in the Senate, a flip that shifts the balance of power in Washington. Donald Trump has 267 out of the 270 electoral votes needed to win the White House and is leading in key races left to be called, including Michigan and Wisconsin. Trump has 267 out of 270 electoral votes needed to win. Trump is leading in Michigan and Wisconsin, where his 2 clearest paths to victory rely on Harris not winning enough of the outstanding votes in Wayne and Milwaukee counties. New updates from both locations will determine whether Harris has any path to overtake Trump in either state. Trump was leading by 175,000 votes at the time the race was called. Trump cut into Harris's margins in Philadelphia and its suburbs and expanded his share of the vote elsewhere in the state compared to his performance against Biden 4 years ago. Kamala Harris underperformed Biden's 2020 performance in almost every county. But could this Trump win mean good or doom for Africa? Let's speak with Dr. Ishmael Holobo, international relations expert. Good morning again, Doc. Thank you for your time.
Morning and good morning to your viewers and listeners.
Doc, did you see Trump's victory coming? Did you project that Donald Trump would win these elections?
In as much as the polls were very tight between the two, then the chances are that any of them have a chance to win the U.S. presidency. So if you watch most of the polls prior to the election, most of the polls have the two candidates virtually tied. So it can go either way. And if you look at how Trump's political career has been, in 2016, there are these so-called invisible Trump voters who virtually come up and then swing the elections in his favor. And we see a similar display in the current election. So yes, he has a path to the presidency. Not many people can saw this coming when Kamala emerged with the euphoria and the support he has from many of the established Americans, particularly Barack Obama and all the celebrities. We thought that, and the polls at that time show her leading Trump, particularly after her performance in the debate with Trump. But then again, Trump is a very resilient character who never gives up, and so somehow he managed to roll back and then on his way to the U.S. presidency.
You see our relations with the U.S., Africa's relations with the U.S., and we'll narrow it down to Ghana's relations with the U.S. following this Trump win.
So, as is being projected that Trump will win, it will have so many, I think that it will have a misimplication for Africa. During his first term in office, he virtually neglected the continent. In other words, he didn't pay so much attention to the continent. And many people believe that during that period, it allowed the Russians and the Chinese to do most of the deals in Africa, to virtually take Africa as their own background. And obviously what Biden and Harris has done over the last 4 years is try to roll back that footprint of China and other emerging powers in Africa. And so his second coming, if we go by what he did during the first term, we expect that Trump will again look more towards America. He is that nationalistic type of leader who is bent on making America great again. You see him putting pressure on even Western allies, NATO members.
Well, I think I'll be in Mar-a-Lago for the most part. We have a lot of political
expenditure and so forth and so on. We will see some of those things back. And in terms of Africa, we will still see Trump that may not be so much engaged with Africa. And but then again, you must understand Trump for Trump, because even during the first term that we say he neglected Africa, he in terms of financial commitment to Africa, on the average about $7 to $8 billion has flown to Africa during that period. So it's not like he canceled most of the initiative that Africa have with the USA. So things like AGWA, things like the Millennium Challenge account will still be running. What may be lacking is the high-profile visits that we witnessed during the Biden era, where you have Kamala Harris, for instance, visiting Ghana, where many the Secretary of State took prop in Africa and so forth. You may not see those kind of things because of his nature, but then you will see the usual engagement with Africa through established channels. You will also see African countries that Trump and his administration feel have something to offer the U.S. Becoming more important to the private, those that have resources that they need. He will not focus on Africa as a collective. He will focus on countries that have very important resources and countries that can benefit the U.S. That's what he is going to do. So small countries may not actually benefit that much from Trump presidency. And of course, we're also looking at a change in dynamics in Africa itself. Now you have the African Continental Free Trade Area, and that collectively gives a very huge market power to Africa. In terms of deals, they will focus on investment and trade that will benefit U.S. companies. So if the AFTA is effective and efficient, then maybe the Trump presidency may be more engaged with Africa. But on the other side, you may see African countries benefiting somehow from a different position of the U.S. on issues of LGBTQ plus rights, which have become toxic somehow between some African countries and the U.S. So, for instance, if you look at Uganda, they have been expelled from the AGOA because of their harsh LGBTQ plus bill or law. And we may not be surprised if Trump allowed them back in, because the Trump side of the American divide is one that supports natural birth. They believe the family is the center of society, and so they are not so much pro LGBTQ plus. So what they will do in Africa is that perhaps, in as much as it will be a neglect, it will also allow African government and the people of Africa who are not interested in advancing LGBTQ plus right to have their way. So, for instance, the fear in Ghana of sanctions and those things, and that Trump presidency, it may not be so, because because as we see the projection, the Republicans are virtually taking control of both the Senate and Congress. So under Trump presidency, you are more likely to see LGBTQ plus rights and pushback in Africa, which may not be opposed by the US, of course, but there are other Western nations like Britain, like France, and all those other ones that may have some issues regarding to that. And of course, if you also look at conflict in Africa, Trump brings a very complicated dynamics to some of the ongoing conflict and the military goals. Because of his nature, he may not be so bent on imposing democracy on other countries as Biden and Harris sought to do, pushing forward democracy. So maybe Trump will be more open to engaging with the military regimes of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. He will somehow want to engage them, either formally or informally, and may well have some level of influence on those people. So in that respect, we may see some opening up for dialogue and so forth and so on in those countries. But then again, it also means that the fear of some pro-Western leaders in Africa, that if they try to cling on to power, the U.S. and its allies will come after them, may not be there, because then if Trump decides to neglect, as we put it, the continent, then we are virtually going to be on our own. And that is also going to play into the geopolitical repositioning of the world. So you may have more of the Russians and the Chinese engaging the African continent. But if Trump decided to counter China, then you will see a more escalation in the current geopolitical tension and then its effect on Africa. And again, Trump will want to confront China on issues of technological transfer and so forth and so on. And those will have implications for Africa indirectly, because as the two major economies of the world go head to head, and you saw that when Trump was first president, that he imposed a lot of trade restriction on China and so forth. You may expect certain things like that, and the effect on Africa will be there, because as we always put it, when two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. So yeah, the implications for Africa are mixed. In one breath, we may have a relatively free environment to impose our own decisions without the headmaster policing, insisting on certain rights being like LGBTQ plus. So for those who are anti-LGBTQ plus in Ghana and Africa, whereas Trump presidency is good for them, is good for them. But those who believe that all these people are human beings and a member of a common human family must be protected and promoted, then it is not a good time for them because of his particular nature. Of course, Trump may also, in terms of dealing with a country like Israel, Trump may go full swing in support of Israel because of his particular leaning, the first president in the U.S. history to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. In terms of Russia, Ukraine, we may see Trump pushing the Ukrainians to a deal, and that may, although may not be favorable to the Ukrainians, but somehow, if you look at how Trump has conducted himself, that war may come to some end, which may more or less favor Russia, given what Trump himself have said during the campaign trail that he would do. So we in Africa, yes, Trump presidency present these dynamics to us, but the most important dynamic Trump presidency present to Africa is that African leaders must begin to understand that the world will not look after you if you don't look after yourself. Trump is elected president of America, and therefore, if you don't put in place the necessary structures to develop yourself, and you are waiting for foreign leaders to virtually give you kickbacks or whatever you call it, you may find yourself if leaders who are nationalistic, as it were, come into power. It's also important because Trump may equally restrict the number of Africans who are having access to the U.S. Remember, during his first term, he put this blanket ban on Muslim-dominated countries, which affected some of our African brothers. So you will see a more restriction on Africans entering the U.S. You also see some repatriation of illegal migrants of African origin in the U.S.
Dr. Ahmad, let's pause here and then take a listen to Trump yesterday when he cast his votes, and then we'll come back to the conversation.
Okay.
Hispanic American, Asian American, Arab American, Muslim American. Well, I think I'll be at Mar-a-Lago for the most part. We have a lot of political professionals. I'm going over now with Melania, who I'm very proud of. She's got the #1 bestseller. Can you believe that? He can believe it. But so we're very proud of the job she's done with that. Her book is #1. But we're going to go over to the office in West Palm, and we're going to say hello to the workers. They've worked very hard.
Will Georgia kind of be your first indication of whether it's going to be?
I think so. I mean, I hear we're doing very well there in Georgia. I hear we're doing very well. I hear we're doing very well everywhere. Now, I may regret that statement, but I'm hearing that we're doing very well. Would you go louder? I haven't prepared a speech. No. I did speeches last night, all day long, all night long. At 2:00 in the morning, we left, and we did a lot of speeches. You can probably tell. No, I don't have to do that. You know, I'm not a Democrat. I'm able to make a speech on pretty quick notice. If I win, I know what I'm going to say, and I don't even want to think about the losing part. I would like to tell all of the people that are online to stay online. We have tremendous Republican lines, and I've been asked actually to say it. It takes a while. I'd like to just make the statement that I'd like the Republicans to stay online. Democrats, if they'd like, they can leave. But I'd like the Republicans to stay online.
Pressure today, given criminal cases against you that would proceed to be lost or go away?
I have no pressure whatsoever. I'm winning big cases. Those cases are all being won. The biggest case was the Florida case, and it's been won. I appreciate your nice question.
Sir, you and Mrs. Trump have been doing
no
this
pressure whatsoever
for 9 years. Regardless of what happens tonight, is this your last campaign? Are you done after this?
Yeah, I would think so. I would think so.
How do you feel about it?
Sad and very fulfilled. I think we're going to have a very big victory today.
Mr. How are you feeling?
Very good, thank you. Thank you.
If you win, do you have a plan in place to start naming staff and
we have already a transition team, but I don't like talking about that until I find out how we do. I mean,
so how does this sort of threats from Iran and sort of assassination attempts sort of shape your thinking on stuff, right?
Well, it doesn't. Look, we're not looking to do damage to Iran, but they can't have a nuclear weapon. So, my terms are very easy. They can't have a nuclear weapon. I'd like them to be a very successful country, but they just can't have a nuclear weapon.
Does it change the way you live, all the threats?
Well, I think Secret Service has been a little bit tougher, to put it mildly. I see more machine guns than I've ever seen in my life. We're surrounded by, I feel very confident with Secret Service. I think they've stepped up. Look, for a long time, they didn't give us the help. They didn't give us the assets, as they say, the manpower, woman power. They didn't give it to us. And we'd have rallies. You saw the rallies, 50, 60,000 people. And well, I think I'll be at Mar-a-Lago for the most part. We have a lot of...
Donald Trump, after he cast his vote yesterday, he gave another speech about his victory. Let's listen to that too.
Analysis of the people that voted for us. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. They came from all corners, union, non-union, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, Arab American, Muslim American. We had everybody, and it was beautiful. It was a historic realignment, uniting citizens of all backgrounds around a common core of common sense. You know, we're the party of common sense. We want to have borders. We want to have security. We want to have things be good, safe. We want great education. We want a strong and powerful military, and ideally we don't have to use it. You know, we had no wars. 4 years we had no wars, except we defeated ISIS. We defeated ISIS in record time. But we had no wars. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. But this is also a massive victory for democracy and for freedom. Together we're going to unlock America's glorious destiny. We're going to achieve the most incredible future for our people. Yesterday, as I stood at my last stop on the campaign trail, I'll never be doing a rally again. Can you believe it? I think we've done 900 rallies approximately from them. Can you imagine? 901 something, a lot of rallies. And it was sad. Everybody was sad. Many people, I said, this is our last rally. But now we're going on to something that's far more important, because the rallies were used for us to be put in this position where we can really help our country. That's what we're going to do.
Donald Trump. Dr. Hobo, thank you for your patience. Thank you for staying with us. Donald Trump, right from the beginning, was very confident about his win. He was confident that he was going back to the White House. Dr. Hobo, are you there?
I'm here.
He was so confident about going back to the White House. On X, formerly known as Twitter, I was reading a lot on Twitter where people think that if the Democrats had still maintained Joe Biden, he would have won the elections, because in some of the states where Trump is pulling some numbers, Biden pulled more than Trump has, and are saying that pulling out Biden from the race and fielding Kamala was in the first place, granting that they were going to lose. But what are some of the factors that made Trump so confident of his win in this election? From every conversation he had, he was so confident that he was going to win the elections.
If you have watched Trump over his course, Trump has always been a very confident man. He has always believed in his ability. And of course, if you say haven't been Biden, that analysis itself is not there, because the Biden we have today is not the Biden of 2020. When he first did the first presidential debate, it was chaotic, and the Democrats had no option than to replace him. In fact, I'm certain if it were Biden, maybe it would have been even more of a landslide victory for him, for Trump. So it's not even an analysis that should be made, because we didn't have a Biden on the ticket. The person we had on the Democratic ticket is Kamala Harris. So it is her performance that we should analyze, not because maybe if this person were that is non-existent. The performance in 2020 cannot be compared to the performance now, and you must take into account the challenges that the American economy has faced in the last 4 years. Of course, rising inflation, record highs, and all other difficulties for American consumers. So those are issues that touch the American voters to go Trump. And if you look at the composition of his vote, even African Americans, people who were told that Trump is bad for them were voting for him because perhaps during his tenure, they didn't see some of the things that people were trying to project. And of course, I think that the Trump campaign actually did more work somehow than the Democrats. The celebrity type of campaigning actually didn't help them. And I think that the Democrat message of Trump is bad for you, so vote for me, is actually not the campaign message. So most of the time, they focus on what is bad about Trump and where people should avoid Trump. And that doesn't win your election. Trump is speaking to the real issues that touch the heart of those Americans who are feeling that they are losing out of globalization, those who feel that the immigrants who are coming in are taking their job, those who feel like illegal immigrants are becoming a problem for them. And of course, in a society that is in economic crisis, you always feel immigrants will be securitized. Immigrants are always labeled as the source of the problem. Those who feel that the U.S. need more protection along the border, those who feel that the family should be the basic foundation for human life, and so it's about what he did and his ability to build a new coalition for himself. People who believe that the country over the last 4 years has not gone in the right direction, they have swung to Trump. And of course, those assassination attempts only embolden his candidacy. So then you are watching and you are virtually thinking, okay, so what is it about this man that people don't want him to get to the presidency? And so forth.
Dr. Hobo, would you agree with those who say that Trump won based on white man privilege? Would you say that? Would you agree with them?
I am not sure, because then if you look at the composition of the vote, he also took some sizable votes from the African American community, from the Latino votes, and so I was speaking to one of my students who is studying in the U.S. and have the right to vote anyway. So, and I asked him, who are you going to vote? The answer I gave is, I'm going to vote for Trump. And why? He said, I'm pro-life. I don't believe that babies should be taken. I don't believe in LGBTQ+. So there are people within those very diversified community, Black Americans. There are people, Latinos, who also believe, just as many of us, that some of the things that the Democrats are promoting will not help society. So we can't say because of white privilege. The same white privilege may be there in 2020, but it didn't work. And of course, yes, of course, we may put the argument: is America ready for a female president? Perhaps no. And to talk of it, then you are talking about a Black female president.
So it means that race also played a role in this.
I think it may, yeah, because you know the American issue of race, but having a female who is also colored in the White House, some conservative whites may not agree with that position. So yes, there's element of race and so forth. But then again, when you look at the vote and then you begin to, as the analysis are coming, you begin to feel like, well, he didn't only win 5 conservative areas. He didn't only win 5 votes. He won votes from those communities that people thought he's a danger to. Those community members themselves decided, as it were, to vote for him. And as I said, I think that it's a matter of when Harris emerged, how marketable. People don't know so much about him. So between the two, somebody will make them say, well, I know a little bit of Trump and I know what he stands for. And clearly, the Harris campaign could not distance herself from Biden. So if he's campaigning on the record of Biden, it means that he's an extension of Biden. So virtually, if it's a verdict on how Biden has managed America for Americans, then it means that they feel that their country has not been managed well. Now, let us not misinterpret it. We are outside America. Our feelings towards America are influenced by what we perceive America to do in the world and so forth and so on. Those in America, they are interested in what America should be for them back home. And I think that it is the issues of the economies, the issues of rising costs, that featured in these elections, issues of American foreign policy. Some people believe that America is more secure with a tougher Trump in the White House to deal with countries like Iran, to deal with countries like Russia. So these dynamics are at play, and then so you can't narrow everything down to race. In as much as I must admit that America's society seems not to be ready for a female president in the first place, and to be ready for a female black president. That to me is to push it too sudden to the extreme. But of course, as I indicated, the composition of the vote means that Trump has really worked hard. He has actually been able to make his case that between the two of them, he is the better candidate. He stands for the American people. And across the world, you've seen this growing rise of extreme nationalism. And because Trump represents some version of that, and the Americans are looking for somebody who can stand for the American people, then they swung to his side of things. So, and it's not only about him; it's also about the House and the Senate. And then the Republicans seems to be winning them. So perhaps there's something the Republicans are doing that the Democrats are not doing. Perhaps the Democrats are pushing the issue of liberalism and liberal right to the extreme for most Americans without they themselves knowing. So I think the factors that explain race may be part, but race is not the essentially deciding factor.
Don't you think that Kamala Harris, if she had come into the light earlier, could have been a strong contender for Trump? It just happens that after Biden had to step down, that is when she stepped up. And in the short period she had, she still was able to run a very tight campaign. You mentioned that the celebrity kind of campaign may not have worked so much in her favor, but in any case, she was able to rally a lot of people to campaign for her so much so that she's gotten these numbers. Do you believe that if she had from the get-go been the preferred candidate, the candidate for the Democrats entering into the elections, we could have seen a different turn of events?
Okay, so the point is that is one of the major issues. They were going with Biden, but along the line they realized that Biden seems not to be able to do what they think he can do. So then it was too late for the Democrat to actually open the space for a proper competition to decide who will lead the party. So it was virtually an endorsement. Now, while that provided a convenient way to replace Biden, it didn't provide the foundation upon which Harris can launch a nationwide campaign and be able to overtake Trump. To her credit, she did creditably work given the short span of time that she had to campaign and to try to contend with somebody like Trump. So within even the Democratic Party, not so many people were convinced about him, but it's just emerged at the right moment, at the right time to take that position. Whereas if he had a benefit of a convention where he will compete with established Democrats, perhaps we will know his true standing even within the party before she leading the party. So yes, to her credit, she did, I think, creditably well in leading the race the way she did. But of course, having been denied that convention and campaigning strategies and all those things affected him some way. So perhaps this is a stepping stone for her. She may want to go back, reassess herself, relaunch another bid for the presidency. This one through the normal channel of the Democratic Party's own system, and that may help. So it's very important. It's very important that we emphasize that she had a very very short time. She has a very very short time to do this campaign, and of course she didn't do that badly. Only that as it were, the Americans feel like she is not the right person for the job, so they gave it to Trump. They are on their way of giving it to Trump.
Would you say that the turning point for Trump, or something that added up to his appeal, was the attempt on his life?
Come again?
Would you say that one of the things that added to many people coming out to vote for Donald Trump was the attempt on his life?
Yeah, that may play some level of influence on people.
Dr. Hobo,
yes.
Dr. Hobo, we will connect with you again as our Zoom is ending. So please, we will connect with you so the conversation can continue. But we're still looking at what also made Trump a more likable candidate to win. What made him the favorite or favorable choice for the elections. At the moment, if you're on X platform right now, so many conversations. The timeline is all about the American elections, the trends, election day, Trump, Pennsylvania, Kamala, Emmanuel Macron, and the French president has actually congratulated Donald Trump. He says, "Congratulations, President, at real Donald Trump, ready to work together as we did 4 years ago, as we did for 4 years, with your convictions and mine, with respect and ambition for more peace and prosperity." So he has congratulated Donald Trump already. The elections are trending. The USA elections are trending. Everybody is interested in USA, a global superpower, who becomes the leader of the free world. So everybody is more interested in the elections. Like Doc said, for many who are pro-life, anti-LGBTQ, they find expression with Trump's speeches, what Trump stands for. He has been very vocal about being pro-life and anti-LGBTQ and all. So many of them voted along those lines. You remember yesterday in our conversations, we asked you what are the reasons for your vote. People vote on the things that resonate with them. So they went to the polls and decided that I am also pro-life. So let me vote for somebody who has those kind of qualities I am looking for. And some of these things are the things that helped or added to Trump's victory. Elon Musk, the CEO of X, was very vocal on X about Trump, tweeting day in and day out for a Trump win. So today, on the socials, it's just the U.S. elections that are making the airwaves. And when you enter Ghana Twitter, as we call it, there's so many parallels that people are drawing between the U.S. elections and the Ghanaian election. We'll see if indeed those parallels pan out. But many are also congratulating Kamala Harris for the hard work she did in the short time she had in the lead up to the elections. They have really congratulated her on X or Twitter as we knew it. But these are the conversations. Trump to be the president again, first 4 years. Biden won after Trump's first 4 years, and he came back for another comeback, and this time he has won. Keir Starmer, who is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, has also congratulated President-elect Donald Trump. This is Wednesday, a release dated Wednesday, 6th November 2024. Congratulations, President-elect Trump, on your historic election victory. I look forward to working with you in the years ahead. As the closest of allies, we stand shoulder to shoulder in defense of our shared values of freedom, democracy, and enterprise, from growth and security to innovation and tech. I know that the UK-US special relationship will continue to prosper on both sides of the Atlantic for years to come. Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, he has also congratulated Donald Trump on that. So these are some of the foreign news portals still reporting about the US elections, calling the elections in favor of Trump and the Democrats. And so many have mentioned the parallels, the similarities between America and Ghana when it comes to the elections. And we'll see if indeed that is it. For the NDC, I see a lot on X. For the NDC members, they say that since a Sankofa president has won, as they will call it, it means that John Mahama will be winning the elections come December 7. For the MPP, they say that since the elephant has won in America, the elephant will also win in Ghana. Various parallels between all of these coming up from the American election. Let's take a listen to Trump again when he spoke. We will be back. Let's listen to him.
And I'm saying only Elon can do this. It must be an Elon. Let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born. Elon. Now he is. Now he's an amazing guy. We were sitting together tonight. You know, he spent 2 weeks in Philadelphia and different parts of Pennsylvania campaigning. You know, he sent the rocket up 2 weeks ago. And I saw that rocket, and I saw it coming down. I saw it. It was, when it left, it was beautiful, shiny white. When it came down, it didn't look so pretty. It was going 10,000 miles an hour, and it was burning like hell. I said, what happened to your paint job? He said, we've never made a paint that could withstand that kind of heat. And but I saw it come down and turn around. And it was, you know, it's like 22 stories tall, by the way. It looks a little smaller than that, but it's big. And it came down, and you saw that fire burning. And I'm saying only Elon can do this. It must be an Elon. Let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born. Elon. Now he is. Now he's an amazing guy. We were sitting together tonight. You know, he spent 2 weeks in Philadelphia and different parts of Pennsylvania campaigning. You know, he sent the rocket up 2 weeks ago, and I saw that rocket, and I saw it coming down. I saw it. It was, when it left, it was beautiful, shiny white. When it came down, it didn't look so pretty. It was going 10,000 miles an hour, and it was burning like hell. I said, what happened to your paint job? He said, we've never made a paint that could withstand that kind of heat. And but I saw it come down and turn around. And it was, you know, it's like 22 stories tall, by the way. It looks a little smaller than that, but it's big. And it came down, and you saw that fire burning. And I'm saying only Elon can do this. It must be an analysis of the people that voted for us. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. They came from all corners, union, non-union, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, Arab American, Muslim American. We had everybody, and it was beautiful. It was a historic realignment, uniting citizens of all backgrounds around a common core of common sense. You know, we're the party of common sense. We want to have borders. We want to have security. We want to have things be good, safe. We want great education. We want a strong and powerful military, and ideally we don't have to use it. You know, we had no wars. 4 years we had no wars, except we defeated ISIS. We defeated ISIS in record time, but we had no wars. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. But this is also a massive victory for democracy and for freedom. Together we're going to unlock America's glorious destiny, and we're going to achieve the most incredible future for our people. Yesterday, as I stood at my last stop on the campaign trail, I'll never be doing a rally again. Can you believe it? I think we've done 900 rallies approximately from them. Can you imagine? 901 something, a lot of rallies. And it was sad. Everybody was sad. Many people, I said, this is our last rally. But now we're going on to something that's far more important, because the rallies were used for us to be put in this position where we can really help our country. That's what we're going to do. Analysis of the people that voted for us. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. They came from all corners, union, non-union, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, Arab American, Muslim American. We had everybody, and it was beautiful. It was a historic realignment, uniting citizens of all backgrounds around a common core of common sense. You know, we're the party of common sense. We want to have borders. We want to have security. We want to have things be good, safe. We want great education. We want a strong and powerful military, and ideally we don't have to use it. You know, we had no wars. 4 years we had no wars, except we defeated ISIS. We defeated ISIS in record time, but we had no wars. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. But this is also a massive victory for democracy and for freedom. Together we're going to unlock America's glorious destiny. We're going to achieve the most incredible future for our people. Yesterday, as I stood at my last stop on the campaign trail, I'll never be doing a rally again. Can you believe it? I think we've done 900 rallies approximately from the, can you imagine? 901 something, a lot of rallies. And it was sad. Everybody was sad. Many people, I said, this is our last rally. But now we're going on to something that's far more important, because the rallies were used for us to be put in this position where we can really help our country. That's what we're going to do. Analysis of the people that voted for us. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. They came from all corners, union, non-union, African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, Arab American, Muslim American. We had everybody, and it was beautiful. It was a historic realignment, uniting citizens of all backgrounds around a common core of common sense. You know, we're the party of common sense. We want to have borders. We want to have security. We want to have things be good, safe. We want great education. We want a strong and powerful military, and ideally we don't have to use it. You know, we had no wars. 4 years we had no wars, except we defeated ISIS. We defeated ISIS in record time. But we had no wars. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. But this is also a massive victory for democracy and for freedom. Together we're going to unlock America's glorious destiny. We're going to achieve the most incredible future for our people. Yesterday, as I stood at my last stop on the campaign trail, I'll never be doing a rally again. Can you believe it? I think we've done 900 rallies approximately from the, can you imagine? 901 something, a lot of rallies. And it was sad. Everybody was sad. Many people, I said, this is our last rally. But now we're going on to something that's far more important, because the rallies were used for us to be put in this position where we can really
does this mean that we shouldn't trust polls? If you looked at some of the polls that came, the polls were calling the election in favor of Kamala Harris. Popular votes have gone for Trump. And people are saying on Twitter or X that it means that people were lying in our faces about who was going to win. Others raising questions about polls and how polls are not very reflective of what happens on election day or on the D-Day. So many conversations following this. The U.S. ambassador to Ghana spoke. Let's listen to her.
You want to do it in fellowship because that's what democracy is about. So it's wonderful to see Americans and Ghanaians and other friends from other countries together, from civilian life and military life, young and old, together witnessing a very important democratic moment for the United States. And there were a lot of similarities, or there are a lot of similarities between, and I have to be careful about drawing that now, between the American election and the Ghanaian election, with a former president running against a sitting vice president. Again, historical. But there are also many differences. The United States, we're all focused on the top of the ticket. But in fact, what you see in the United States isn't one election run by a national election commission. It's many, many different elections. The presidential, of course, important, but a third of our senators are elected. Our entire lower house, or our entire House of Representatives in Virginia, where I voted, the school board members were on the ballot, and constitutional provisions and bonds and that kind of stuff. So there will be more to watch, even though we've had a big finale. And I think because of the proximity of American and Ghanaian elections, it's important to acknowledge that elections are messy. They're messy because they're participatory, because we're airing grievance and we're airing issues and the way that we feel differently about them. But I was at the National Peace Council meeting of stakeholders yesterday with the Danish ambassador and the UN country representative. And the head of the National Peace Council stood up and said, remember that this isn't a battle between enemies. It's a contest between fellow Ghanaians or fellow Americans about the issues and about the future of the country and how we want it to go. And once elections end, we have to be attentive to that. And it's hard to put aside that kind of partisanship that so motivates us before an election, but it is incredibly important and precious. I think, I don't mean to be preachy, but it's something I'm very proud of as an American, is our ability to do that. And I think we need to remember that today. We need to remember that every vote counts, that the young people who voted for the first time are learning like incredibly important elections about democracy, as they will in Ghana. And we all learn, I think, through experiences like this, how fragile democracy can be, how fragile democratic institutions can be, and how they must be protected and fought for, really with our lives, because they are what makes us American or Ghanaian. It's what makes America and Ghana peaceful and stable and prosperous. Is that democracy and our ability to then hold hands as citizens and move forward together. So I will just thank you very much again for being here together with us and onward. So I will make a toast, because diplomats can't help but make a toast.
So that's Virginia Palmer, the U.S. ambassador to Ghana. She's mentioned the similarities between the Ghanaian election and the American election. America, a former president running against a vice president. We have similar here in Ghana. Let's see how Ghanaians will also vote come December 7. Will it be a replication of what has happened in America, or will Ghana also go on a different tangent? In any case, both major political parties have a way of finding expression in what has happened. They are using the elephant as one. In another vein, we're using the driver's mate analogy as one. Very interesting. We'll see how it goes in elections come December 7. So these are some of the key voting factors in the swing states first let's look at the swing states in the elections. The swing states were 7 swing states: Pennsylvania, Michigan, North Carolina, Georgia, Nevada, Wisconsin, and Arizona. These were the swing states in this elections for the Americans. And let's see the factors that were the key in voting for America. So immigration was 1, cost of living 1, Israel's war in Gaza, abortion, unemployment. Trump in his speech mentioned that no more wars. He says that he's not a man for war, but we know that Trump has very strong stance on immigration. He's constantly spoken about illegal migrants in America and the need not to have them in America, the need to rid them of there. But Trump, a very pro-life man against abortion and very conservative with his party, they are not for abortion. And for Kamala and the Republicans, they were pro-choice, more pro-choice people. That is, it seems to reflect that America is a more conservative. Is that so? Is America more conservative, or is it just that Americans wanted Trump to come back? Are Americans saying that they are not for LGBTQ, abortion and all, or is it that indeed they are a conservative people, contrary to what we see in the media and all? But so many conversations on social media where others are very dejected, very sad that the votes have gone in favor of Trump. There are others who are extremely excited about Trump coming back to the White House. And others have also said that if Joe Biden had been allowed to go on, there is a strong probability that he would have won the elections and Trump wouldn't have come back anymore. So many conversations, different angles on the politics of this elections. And like I said, on X, so America is what is making the top trends on X at the moment. Trump is trending, Kamala is trending, US elections 2024 is trending, 47th POTUS is trending, Pennsylvania trending, Biden also trending on X, trending on X. So these are some of the conversations, and like I asked Doc earlier, some believe that if Kamala had entered the race earlier than she did, she could have pulled a surprise. Others also believe that America doesn't need a woman president at the moment, a female as president at the moment, and that America is still steeped in wanting males to lead. They say that Obama was an outlier. Is it true? Is that it? The conversations are extensive. We'll get to understand more and more as we have more interactions on this election results from America. But these are the key voting factors in the swing states in this election: immigration, cost of living, Israel's war in Gaza, abortion, unemployment. When it comes to immigration, many people are worried that there will be mass deportation of illegal migrants in America. Is that so? Are we going to see that? Trump has been vocal about migration and all. Let's see if indeed that is what will pan out following this elections. Immigration, cost of living, Israel's war in Gaza, abortion, unemployment. Many said that America has sat down and looked on as Israel has invaded Gaza and desecrated Gaza, and that it will take Trump coming in to shut this down. Is it going to be the case? Are we going to see that? He says no more war. Are we going to see that? Will that be so? Let's take a look again at the swing states in this election. The swing states in the election: Pennsylvania, Michigan, North Carolina, Georgia, Nevada, Wisconsin, and Arizona. Pennsylvania has 19 electoral colleges, Michigan 10 electoral colleges, North Carolina 16 electoral colleges, college votes, Georgia 16 electoral college votes, Nevada 6 electoral college votes, Wisconsin 15 electoral college votes, and Arizona 11 electoral college votes. Like we said, in America, you win by winning the electoral college. You win by winning the electoral college vote, not necessarily the popular vote. And America has done this for their elections. The United States has used electoral college to elect the nation's president since its founding. And a candidate needs 270 electoral votes to win the White House. To win the White House, you must have 270 electoral college votes. In the history of America, 5 presidents have won with the electoral college without winning the popular votes. In 2016, Donald Trump did not win the popular vote. However, he won the electoral vote. Hillary Clinton then won the popular vote with over 2.8 million votes more than Trump. However, she lost the electoral college, where Trump won 306 and she won 232. You need 270 electoral college votes to become president. In 2020, Trump lost both the popular votes and the electoral college. In 2020, Joe Biden won 306 and Trump won 232. So although you could win the popular votes, it is not automatic that you would become president. The electoral college will have to vote for you to become president. So when you vote in a presidential election, your individual vote for a candidate counts towards the popular vote. But that doesn't mean that that person wins the presidency. The electoral votes are cast by members of the electoral college. And the electoral college will determine who becomes president. In America, there are a total of 538 electoral votes. And to win the presidency, you have to have 270 out of those 538 electoral votes. And the number of electors in each state will determine who becomes the president. So let's see how the electoral college works. So for the electoral college, after you've voted in the popular votes, which is everybody, the electoral college is just 538, like I said. Very few from the vast number of people who have to vote. And then as a person or as a candidate, you need to get 270 out of that 538. So before the general election, the states, all of the states must select slates of electors, and those electors are the ones who will be voting in the electoral college. At the moment, Trump has virtually won it because he's inching closer and closer to those 270 votes that he needs from the electoral college to become president of America. Kamala Harris trails behind him, and it seems that a president who lost after his first term will be coming back to the White House as president for a second term. That's all for well, we'll have more conversation on this. Let's take a break. We'll be back.
Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia number 1 on the ballot. Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia number 1 on the ballot.
Mid-year budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently at Kamisu.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
Two to one.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
Mid-year budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently at Kamisu.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
Two to one.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
Mid-year budget review with some key allocations.
We are currently at Kamisu.
When the news breaks, we are there. In the heart of matters arising, we follow through with the right question. Don't miss a beat with our in-depth news analysis. From breaking news, special feature stories, latest news, we bring you the stories that matter. Our team of immersed reporters bring you the news as it happens. Join us every 6 a.m., 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. each day for a comprehensive look at the stories beyond the headlines.
Two to one.
You're watching ABC News GH.
ABC News GH, your trusted source for news.
Media budget review.
You're still watching ABC in the morning live on ABC News GH. Poll Center votes, not violence. You're reminded that we'll be bringing you Poll Center, and these 30 days ahead of the elections, every week we will come to your constituencies to talk to you. We'll come to your constituencies, you speak to Ghanaians for Ghanaians to know what you are planning ahead of the elections, who you are voting for, what are the factors you are considering before voting. And on ABC News GH, when we say polls, the Poll Center, we will be giving you all of the credible information you need ahead of the elections. We'll be tying in the elections to all of the elections that has happened before this 2024 elections. So you want to be tuned in to ABC News GH so that you are abreast. And when we say votes, not violence, we are telling you that it is your thumb alone that is needed during the elections. Don't be used as a tool for any form of violence. We're still discussing the US elections, and as it stands, Trump is winning the elections. John Blankson joins us. He has been following this election for a while now, and let's also pick his mind on the elections results as it stands. John, thank you for joining us this morning. Hello, John. Hi, good morning, John. Thank you for joining us. We are still establishing contact with John Blankson. We'll understand the elections, what it means for Africa, what it means for...
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, John. Good morning. Thank you for joining.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Great. The election seems, everybody seems to be calling the elections in favor of Trump. Did we see this coming? Was it a done deal that Trump was going to win by this margin?
So I wouldn't say it was necessarily a done deal. There were a couple of factors that influenced this decision. One being a U.S. electorate that makes it very difficult to elect women. But also on both platforms, there were differences in messaging. I think Harris more embraced a more broader liberal agenda, where Trump more sort of embraced an American first approach and his governance style. So I would say with Harris's central messaging being abortion, it was enough to sway college-educated women, but also wasn't enough to sway suburban women and rural America, particularly white women who went for Trump. Latinos also went for Trump, and which is more surprising considering his messaging against Puerto Ricans. But I think a more crucial factor has been ignored for a very long time in the U.S. election landscape, whereas women have a much more difficult time getting elected into higher office. When we look at the top 3 positions of government out of 100 plus Supreme Court justices, only 6-7 women. We've only had 1 woman House Speaker, 1 woman Vice President. Out of 49, we've only had 3 women become Secretary of State. So it was extremely difficult, and I don't think neither party has figured out the formula. So it's a combination of an electorate that makes it difficult to elect women, and also the differences in messaging, because people are struggling in America per, the views on Twitter, on TV, and not able to afford grocery prices. So people just say, okay, I want to be able to put food on the table. I want to be able to take money home. And I think that was what Trump message resonated, whether it was genuine or not. That was what he was sold to his voters.
That Trump won based on white privilege, because conversations are that Kamala has had to work twice as hard as the regular American man would have to work to be able to get into the White House. With barely 100 days at her disposal, she's gone above and beyond to sway a lot of people onto her side. And many believe that Trump's win is coming from the angle of white privilege. It shows that, for want of a better word, Obama was, to say, an outlier, and that if Biden had still persisted and gone, Biden would have also won because he's also a white man. Would you agree with the white privilege part of the conversation?
Thank you for that question. It's really tricky to for that. So whiteness that does indeed play a huge role in getting elected in leadership in America. When we look at Fortune 500 companies, when we look at the Senate, when we look at governors across the state and president, I do agree that President Obama was once in a lifetime generational talent. But I also do think that we were getting close. And when we take a look at the 2016 election, Hillary Clinton had a genuine shot, but there were a lot of unprecedented factors during the last 10 days of the election that sank her. So white privilege does play a role. It's always going to be there. It was there before we were born, and it's not something realistically that I can change or you can change. And I think that as the Democratic Party needs to figure out what their message is and what do voters care about and how they can hone that message. And I still remember from 2016, Trump just saying jobs, jobs, jobs. That was his campaigning message. That's all you heard. Whether he delivered it or not, he found a way to deliver great PR for his platform. So white privilege does play a role. But the fact is, it's not going to go away. And we've had minorities rise to close enough to the office. And the work here is to figure out how we can get past white privilege, how we can rally minority communities. We can rally Latinos. We can rally more women to vote. We can rally more other people of color, LGBTQIA plus communities. We can rally them to vote because America is growing increasingly diverse.
John, one of the conversations has been about Trump's flaws. The fact that people say he's brash and abrasive, his approach to certain conversations, his seemingly very entrenched stance as a pro-life person, regardless of how the situation is. What played to his advantage? Is it the patriarchy? Is it the fact that people are not ready yet for a woman president? What really played to his advantage? Looking at the fact that he has so many flaws, felony conversations all around him and all, what played to his advantage?
I think it boiled down to his messaging. There are different communities in America, and Trump just knows how to touch that community and get them out to vote. I don't necessarily agree with the messaging and the style of that community, but Trump is able to get them out. He campaigned on building a wall and not having open borders. And I think Democrats, towards the end of the campaign, were really sort of like trying to figure out how to position their messaging on immigration. And Trump campaigned on, not only did he campaign on building the wall and migrant crisis, he also talked about the economy. things are expensive, and he really knew how to get voters out. And I always say that, the social issues are important, but the economic issues are important. Because exit polls say that people did not really care much about abortion, which was the central messaging platform of Democrats. And I think it's tough, when you were putting a woman to rise to the top of the ticket, because in 2016, Secretary Clinton had hundreds and hundreds of pages of policy platforms. People did not care. So I think Harris took the opposite, and did the opposite what Secretary Clinton did. It didn't make a difference this time around. So key things that play to his advantages, his team understands what voters want and what they want to hear. Not necessarily what they want, but what they want to hear. He taps in it, he capitalizes on it, whether he's going to deliver or not. I think people don't question him on that, and he's able to. And then he's able to win elections on that. White male privilege, of course, plays an advantage, but it's always going to be there, and there's nothing we can do about it. The thing we didn't learn from the 2016 elections are people are willing to believe rumors about a woman than accept facts about a man. He was convicted with 34 felonies. That didn't matter because voters were not looking on that. They just wanted their pockets to be full, and that's what's boiled down to.
The issue about immigration, however, we are seeing a rise in Hispanic voters. Where does this contradiction come to play? The man is talking about immigration. He's talking about tight immigration measures. A lot of people are actually bemoaning the possibility of mass deportation. Yet we see minorities voting more for him. Let's try and establish a correlation, causation, or maybe a contradictory approach to this. What would you say informs these things?
I think generally people have a misconception that immigration destabilizes the economy, and people I've personally spoken to say, oh, I came here legally, I want others to do the same. So they have this mentality that if they went through the process, you should also go to the process, and the path to citizenship should be just as difficult as they went through. So there is a misconception that, when there is more people coming in the country, then it means that it destabilizes the economy. And oftentimes minorities are the ones in terms of job opportunities and other economic opportunities. They're the one at disadvantage. So it's like, I don't want more people to come and join what's already difficult, but it's a huge misconception. There are studies that show that immigration can actually improve the economy. And also, I remember speaking to one voter yesterday who said that he doesn't feel that Latinos are represented in government, so he doesn't see himself being represented in the Democratic platform or its leadership. So there is a combination of things with Latinos wanting to see representation, Latinos, surprisingly, and other migrant communities being harsh on immigration because they feel that it's just an influx of migrants flowing into the country, which destabilizes the economy. Whether that's true or not, that has been the widespread belief.
Will Trump indeed make America great again, like he's been trumpeting?
So, that was I would give it to him. That was a great campaign slogan, even though I don't agree with its meaning and its implication of it. So 4 years, it's a no. That's my assessment. I wish him well. I want him to do well. But if we're basing off his campaign messaging, then we are in for big trouble because, he campaigned on building walls. He campaigned on, harming opponents and people who question and challenge him. He talked about for us not voting again and destabilizing our democracy. And I think when these things happen, they are distractions to what is supposed to be done with the economy. I want him to do well, but his campaign messaging doesn't point to that direction. He's campaigned on jobs. I hope he's able to deliver jobs. I hope he's able to reduce inflation. I hope he's able to do all the things that voters are expecting him to do. As to whether I see it pointing in that direction, I personally do not, because based on the messaging he has trumpeted throughout his campaign.
Okay. What happens to African relations with America?
So it's funny, there were a lot of Africans in the States supporting Trump, which is interesting because I think compared to both parties, Democrats are more open and have a more globalist agenda, whereas Trump has a more America First agenda. So this could have an effect on trade. AGOA, since its introduction, has really helped economies throughout Africa, particularly Southern Africa, and to be able to, stabilize in trade and be able to make trade more easier. But I am not sure if Trump is going to uphold that or improve trade, because a lot of businesses would like to sell outside the African borders, and I'm not sure he was able to deliver. So in terms of, diplomatic relations, in terms of aid, in terms of trade agreements, and in terms of the kind of agreements that will help grow Africa's economy, to have U.S. as one of our biggest allies, it's up for questioning and it's up for discussion. And, during Trump's term, he did not, I don't recall him, visiting that many African countries, or whether he did at all, compared to where Vice President Harris did the tour of the continent. So it's a big question. I personally don't think his stance is going to help the continent, but he's a guy of many surprises, and we'll be stay tuned to see what he does.
He says no more wars. Is this feasible? Will he be able to deliver on this? He mentioned that in his first term, he wasn't a man of war. This second term is not going to be any different. Many have criticized the Republicans for funding or for fueling the wars that have gone on, especially Russia, Ukraine, criticized the Republicans also for standing behind Israel and all of the massacre that is happening. And all of these conversations, the Democrats talking, I missed it there, let me come back again, pardon me. The Democrats standing behind Israel and all of what is happening, the Ukraine-Russia war and all. With Trump as president, do we see him standing by his no war conversation, his no war trumpeting, that there will be no wars?
So we've seen during his presidency that there weren't wars that as we're seeing now. So evidenced by his presidency, and compared to now, there was more stability. And it may be the timing, it may not necessarily be his leadership, or it may be his leadership. Compared to now, there's the ongoing war in Gaza, which is borderline genocide, the Israel and the Ukraine and Russian war. There's a lot going on. And Trump has proven to be risk averse, and evidenced by his first term. So in terms of what he would do to stabilize it, Trump is a fan of Putin, as he has said in debates back in 2016 with Secretary Clinton. So it's really hard to predict where he would go because he's unpredictable. But I do think that I do see some sort of ending to the ongoing wars in the Middle East and, between Russia and Ukraine, because, of course, number one, the timing is the thing. Things eventually run their course. Number two, I hope he will really, really, whether his appointment of the Secretary of State or his diplomatic team, will really take an effect to be able to bring things down and bring the tensions down. There is an article in the Washington Post that really says, Ukrainians are ready for a Trump presidency. I'm not sure how that's going to benefit him. Trump can deliver on no wars because there isn't a record of major global destabilization and conflict during his first term in office. So we have that to reference. And he saying he's going to deliver no wars. We hope he holds that to promise.
Where does the Democrats go from here? Trump becomes president. What's the next line for them? Do we see them regrouping and coming back stronger? Will we see them field another person of color, another black person, another Indian person? Will we see them coming back on that tangent, or they'll continue on the Caucasian tangent?
I don't see Democrats nominating a minority in a very long time. So there are a couple of things that I predict will take place. The influence of, Democratic superstars, the heavy hitters, was going to wane because for the, you've proven that you cannot win elections. And it could be the timing, it could be the candidate. So the influence of superstar Democrats is going to wane. And I think this is going to affect their primary process because progressives, leftists, have an issue with the primary process. But according to the law, the party can decide how it nominates its nominee. There's no rule guidance. The party has complete control of how it does it. I personally don't see the Democratic Party nominating a minority again, because while it has nothing to do with, the gender doesn't affect how the person does the job, the gender doesn't affect, the race doesn't affect how the person does the job, the electorate are not catching up, and the electorate are seeing it as a hindrance, and it's starting to look like it's a big risk. Secretary Clinton was poised to win. Everything pointed her to win, and people are saying if she can't win, then who can? And then we have a sitting vice president who also lost to a man who had been convicted of 34 felonies, rape allegation, misconduct, and a lot of alleged treason in office.
So does it mean that the minority will always have to work maybe triple times as hard because you give one opportunity, and because it doesn't go the way you want, you withdraw that opportunity from the minority?
So, yes, Trump, and both his winning elections, ran against a sitting vice president who's been a U.S. senator and an attorney general of the largest justice department in the country. He also defeated a former Secretary of State, one of the most visible, most influential politicians in the world, who was also a senator, a former first lady. And, in terms of being you have to work twice as hard because the odds are not in your favor. The demographic of the U.S. population still leans heavily white, and there's a misconception about how your race affects or how you do the job, or how your gender affects how you do the job. It has nothing to do with it. When we take a look at Europe, Angela Merkel, while there's, mixed feelings about her tenure in office, she was widely respected. She was able to do the job. When we take a look at back home, President Sirleaf was an effective president by a lot of metrics, by a lot of standards. So it does affect, the perception of voters. And I really hope that changes. Back home in the U.S., it's really hard to get women elected, even for state and local offices, and you have to work twice as hard. In both elections, Trump raised less money than his opponent. He had less ground game, less staffing, less policy platform, and he still won.
Would you say that the shooting incidents, the attempted assassination, also played into the victory of Donald Trump?
So when it happened, I thought, this is it. There's no way he loses. This is sort of like the Time magazine cover, this image that will be studied in the history book. So I thought this was it. This is when he was running against President Biden. But then, things changed. President Biden dropped out. He endorsed Vice President Harris. It was insane momentum. She raised unprecedented amount of money in 24 hours. You had heavy Democratic heavyweights, Secretary Clinton, President Obama just endorsed her. You had Oprah. There was a lot of momentum that we had not seen before. People were comparing it to 2008. But then also Trump had a few missteps, actually a lot of missteps. He insulted Puerto Ricans. He insulted minorities. He had no policy platform. He campaigned on violence. He campaigned on a really dark rhetoric that would typically sink an election, and it did not. And if Harris was a man, she would have won the election easily. There's also something that doesn't play in her favor. Maybe her timing was too short and wasn't necessarily an advantage. So there's really a double standard, and it played in Trump's favor. It wasn't all about policy. It was about the dynamics, the image, the assassination attempt. Whether it was or it wasn't, it looked like it sealed his victory, but he dug his own grave at some point, but he never went inside. He had a lot of missteps, but it looked like it wasn't enough to sink his election.
Well, John, do you think it is time to do away with the Electoral College? Some say that it is an archaic system. Do you agree that it is time to do away with it?
So yes, I am completely for abolishing the Electoral College. I think the Electoral College was first established so that a handful of states do not always decide the election. Whether California and New York, the most populous state, do not always decide the election. But it looks like it's not fulfilling its purpose because California is the largest state in the country, has a ton of electoral votes and votes coming out of there, and they don't have as much of a say as Wisconsin, Arizona, Pennsylvania, the short of the swing states. Those have the say, and I feel like one vote, one person is practiced widespread, whether in Ghana and parts of Europe, parts of South America, parts of Asia. It's a widespread practice where one vote, one person, because what it does is it's no longer about a select full of states. It was to prevent the select full of states having to say in the election, and it looks like it's serving the same purpose because the election always boils down to Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, and those few swing states.
Thank you for your time this morning, John.
Thank you so much, Shabna. Thank you for having me.
John Blankson has been following these elections for long. He's been taking note of the elections and basically giving us all of the things we need to understand from these elections. One of the key takeaways is that if Harris was a man, she would have won the elections easily. She's had to work twice as hard as Trump has worked. With barely 100 days, she went above and beyond, but the results from the elections are not in her favor. Trump has won, and it's quite curious that he spoke a lot about minorities, about immigration and all, but you still see a number of minorities voting for him. Where does that correlation come in? Where do we find the correlation between his policies about minorities and then the same minorities voting for him? Is it that America was just not ready for a woman to lead the country? Is it that America was not ready for a minority to lead the country? Is it that America is steeped in a certain tradition that would rather see a Caucasian lead the country? So many conversations around this, especially as Ghanaians also drawing some parallels with the American election. But at the moment, with the votes coming in, many credible sources are calling the elections for Donald Trump. We will wait as a declaration is made and we'll see how far it goes. But Ghana's elections are coming up December 7th. And because Ghana's elections coming up, we here at ABC News GH are bringing you the Post Center. Votes, not violence. Pay attention to your decision on December 7th. Your thumb will speak for you that day. And look forward to seeing us in your constituencies. Every week we will come to your constituency and have conversations with you. But that's all for the main discussion. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Baumia, #1 on the ballot.
In 2017, the NPP inherited a fragmented digital infrastructure that limited public service efficiency. Since then, we've revolutionized how services are delivered with the Ghana card and mobile money interoperability, enhancing speed and accessibility. Our efforts have greatly improved government interactions, making life easier for every Ghanaian. However, our vision doesn't stop here. We aim to further expand and modernize Ghana's digital landscape. The journey towards a fully integrated digital society continues. Stand with us. Vote for innovation. Vote for Baumia. Baumia means business.
Welcome back. You're still watching ABC in the Morning live on ABC News GH. Up next, Politics Today. Well, on Politics Today, we are looking at the GFP, Akua Donkor's party, the Ghana Freedom Party, which seems to be in disarray over replacing the late Akua Donkor for the 2024 elections. You would recall that just a few days ago, it was reported that Madame Akua Donkor had passed at the Rich Hospital following a short illness. The EC gave the party some 10 days to decide who would replace her on the ballot paper and for the elections, and it looks like the party is divided. The leadership of the party is divided over whether or not the party should continue to participate in the 2024 presidential elections after the founder, Madame Akua Donkor, died. While the General Secretary of the party, George Afo, in a letter dated Monday, November 4, addressed to the Electoral Commissioner, announced that the party had nominated the vice presidential candidate, Philip Appiah Kubi, commonly known as Roman Father, to replace the late Akua Donkor as the presidential candidate. The national organizer, Richard Butchie, in another letter dated Tuesday, November 5, also addressed to the EC, announced that the party was withdrawing from the race. Roman Father, in some correspondence by the GFP, has been referred to as Philip Kwabena-Agyeman, but the GFP's General Secretary's letter to the EC introduced him as Philip Appiah Kubi. Both letters were received by the Electoral Commission on Tuesday, November 5. However, ABC News GH has gathered from the Electoral Commission that the letter from the General Secretary is what the Commission is working with. The Commission has since received the nomination forms from Roman Father as the presidential candidate replacement for Akua Donkor, and sources at the Electoral Commission have told Graphic Online that the Commission is reviewing the nomination forms and is expected to give a feedback to the party within 24 hours or latest by Thursday, November 7, on whether or not the presidential candidate and the running mate meet the qualifications. Roman Father, following the General Secretary's letter on Tuesday at exactly 1:07 p.m., filed his nomination forms, which had Vida Eshen as his running mate. The deputy chairman at the EC in charge of operations, Samuel Tete, received the forms. Let's speak with Patrick Tete. He is the parliamentary candidate for Nsawam Adwedri for the Ghana Freedom Party. Let's speak with him on all of this confusion about who is representing Akua Donkor for the elections. Good morning, Patrick. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Patrick, what is all this hullabaloo surrounding your party's nominations?
Okay. Good morning, Ghana. Good morning to all cherished listeners to ABC News and viewers. Okay. So I would like to say that Ghana Freedom Party is alive. Ghana Freedom Party is contesting for the 7th December general election. So any other news should be disclaimed. Like, nobody should understand or accept any other news that comes, because Ghana Freedom Party has filed our presidential and running mates to the Electoral Commission, and the Electoral Commission has received. Therefore, we are waiting patiently for the Electoral Commission to come back to us to announce the position so we can proceed with our democratic process of Ghana.
Patrick, did you have consultations before announcing Roman Fada as the replacement for Akua Donkor?
Okay, thank you. First of all, I would like to clarify this. So it isn't Patrick that made a declaration of Roman Fada as the flag bearer or running mate of Ghana Freedom Party. As we all know, every political party have executive, have heads, and Ghana Freedom Party is no exemption. Ghana Freedom Party has executive, that is the General Secretary of Ghana Freedom Party with the name Mr. George Afo. And there are 4 parliamentary candidates in the upcoming election. That is for Mr. George Bencher, who is the Kwabri East Mapontin constituency parliamentary candidate. We have Mr. Isaac Gamashi, who is the Asante Achim Central constituency parliamentary candidate. We have Mr. Franco Briabua, who is Old Tafo constituency parliamentary candidate. And myself, Patrick Tete, who is in Saoma Dweji constituency parliamentary candidate. We have the Kwabri East Women Organizer. We have other executives which were involved. So I'm telling Ghanaians that we haven't even had any rest since the EC gave us 10 days to present our presidential candidate. So we've gone through all this. So whoever that is saying is a national organizer or who, which were the supporters, which are the people, that person should just come out. Because I'm telling you that, led by the General Secretary, and followed by Mr. Apia Kubi, who is the presidential candidate, and Ms. Vida Ishon, who is the running mate, with all the people that I mentioned, are the team that went to the EC to present her nomination. So whoever that is speaking should come out and tell us the position that they hold in the party.
So what you have given to the EC is the clear one, and is what Ghanaians should go with.
Yes, we've given that to the EC. The EC will come out to let us know. I'm sure, because I spoke with Media General today, this morning, on their earlier morning show, and yes, they showed videos that shows that yes, the EC has received our nomination, and we are waiting for the state of the EC, and we'll proceed with our democratic proceedings of this country.
Patrick, on the press release that we saw yesterday, Richard Terrier and Richard Botche and Seth Terrier, are they indeed executives of the GFP?
Yeah, so Richard Terrier, or whatever that they call Richard Botche, is not a recognized person of Ghana Freedom Party. And my executives, like I said, the General Secretary, all the people that I mentioned their name, including the... So where was this candidate when Ghana Freedom Party and all these executives were presenting our nomination to the Electoral Commission? So let's just put that aside so that we can focus and have the peace and maintain. I know that there are a lot of people that are trying to use Ghana Freedom Party to undermine the peace of this country, and that is not going to happen.
So you are saying on record that these 2 persons are not executives of the Ghana Freedom Party?
These 2 people were not even present in our area. We went to meet at the Kwabri East Mapontin constituency as soon as the EC gave us 10 days to get this thing done. And we've been there all this while. We just came back to Accra 2 days ago. We came to make our conclusion and everything, getting processes and documentations that to go and file. And we've done that. And I've not seen anybody with that person, that name. We don't know anybody with that. So I am saying, I'm stating, yes, that parliamentary candidate for Saoma Dweji, Patrick Tete, is saying on fact that I don't know whoever Richard Botche is, as whatever they claim he is. So it should come out and speak just like I'm speaking. Come out and talk to the general public and let us know who you agreed with to give out that letter.
Patrick, since we are not so familiar with the executives of GFP, can you name the executives, the leaders of the Ghana Freedom Party, so that we are all clear in our heads? When we see a press release, when we hear anybody speaking, we know that these persons are speaking on behalf of the Ghana Freedom Party.
Okay, so let me just give you this brief one, just like I was saying. The Ghana Freedom Party at this point, when we lost our founder and leader, and in every political party, the General Secretary plays a major role. So currently as we speak, Mr. George Afo is the General Secretary of Ghana Freedom Party. Then as we speak, Mr. Apia Kubi is the presidential candidate who was then the running mate. So even if anybody wants to say that the executives or whatever, the running mates, Mr. Apia Kubi, who was properly out there, known by everybody. That is the running mate for our founder and leader late. So, Vida Sean has been replaced as the running mate for Ghana Freedom Party. Mr. George Bencher, like I said, is the Kwabri East Mamponting constituency parliamentary candidate. Mr. Isaac Gamashi is the Asante Achim constituency parliamentary candidate. Mr. Franco Briabwa is the Old Tafu constituency parliamentary candidate, and myself in Samoa Dreji constituency. So you, for now, you can hold on to this information that if anybody comes out and this supporters, these executives are not there, then that person is just trying to throw some dust on the.
Patrick, so who are your chairman and organizer?
At this time, I don't know why we'll have to dwell on all those things. We are saying that Ghana Freedom Party has presented our nomination to the Electoral Commission and has been received by Samuel Tete, who is the Deputy Director of Operations. So I don't know what, if there is anybody who wants to come out and speak like I'm speaking, let the person come out. That is what I'm throwing out there.
In 2 letters that the EC received, in one vein, Roman Father was referred to as Philip Apia Kubi. In another vein, he was referred to as Philip Kwabena Ajiman. Why the confusion?
Well, the letter that came out from our General Secretary, which stated that we are renominating our presidential candidates and vice presidential candidates, is what we are going by right now.
When I look at this letter, the one that has Richard Butchie, I see national organizer, I see vice chairman, I see deputy general secretary, I see treasurer, and I see communication director. When you also listed the executives, there was no vice chairman, there was no organizer, there was no deputy general secretary. Could it be that your party's executives have been split into 2? One expecting to present a candidate, and another who are saying that no, let us respect the memory of our late founder? Could it be that your party
that is not the situation as we speak? Like I said, I have stated clearly that we have filed our nomination. So if there is any executives out there, indeed, as you speak, that they want to find a way to go, they can go to the Electoral Commission. Let us hear from them.
Is it true that some political elements were behind the decision that don't fill the candidate so that it would distort the arrangement or alignment on the paper? Is it true that some
I haven't personally had any engagement with any political party or influencers. I haven't had anything. We were just focused on getting our party running on the 7th December elections and making sure that we are giving honor to our late founder and leader. So that is what exactly we're about.
Patrick, how does the 2024 election look like for the Ghana Freedom Party?
Okay, thank you. At this point, I think that, Ghanaians and the general public will bear with us. This is a very critical time for Ghana Freedom Party. And we have a few days to elections, and our founder and leader is down. And as we speak, the EC gave us 10 days to do. So we've actually diverted from campaigning and all those things so that we could make sure that we are coming to celebrate the 1 week of our late founder and leader. We have a lot of things ahead and stuff. So as we speak, we are just doing everything side by side. It's not easy to get all through this. But we are telling the general public that the candidate which has been presented to the Electoral Commission is capable of leading Ghana Freedom Party to the promised land. So let Ghanaians have the assurance in us, and we are working hard to make the Ghana we know and want Ghana better.
Thank you, Patrick. We're grateful for your time this morning.
All right, thank you for having me.
Patrick Tete is the parliamentary candidate for Nsuoma Dwedri, standing for the Ghana Freedom Party. He says that Ghana Freedom Party has nominated Philip Apia Kubi, known as Roman Father, as the presidential candidate to replace the late Madam Equia Donko for the 2024 elections. He says we should disregard anything from any quarters. This is the position of the party. That's all for politics today, this morning. A short breather. We'll be back and we'll be closing soon. next is Happier. Loved one, you want to wish them a happy birthday, you want to wish them well, it's on Happier that you get the opportunity to do that. So get in touch with us on 053-916-1609 and we'll gladly do that on your behalf. We have a birthday wish to someone. Happy birthday, Grace. This is coming from Nana Kwame Yeboah. Nana Kwame Yeboah says, happy birthday, Grace. I hope your day is filled with joy, laughter, and all the things you love. You deserve the best on your special day and throughout the year ahead. Enjoy every moment. So, Grace, this is coming from Nana Kwame Yeboah. He wishes you a happy birthday. If you also want to be like Nana Kwame, to wish your friends and your loved ones a happy birthday, get in touch with us via our socials or via the number I mentioned earlier, 053-916-1609. We'll gladly help you do that. On Executive Interview on ABC in the Morning, we give you the opportunity to speak about that product you have, that service you're providing, that startup you have begun. We give you all of the opportunity to connect with Ghanaians. So get in touch with us on the same number, 053-916-1609, so that you will come on Executive Interview and let Ghanaians know what you are doing. As we get into the elections, Polls Center on ABC News GH is here for you. Votes, not violence. Do well to speak with your thumb and not with your fist or anything. Don't allow anybody to use you as a conduit for any form of violence. So be tuned into Polls Center. We'll bring you all of the dynamics, all of the information you need, the statistics and relevant, credible news you need on the elections. We'll look at the elections that have been held in Ghana in previous years and the election this year, and we are sure that by the time you have finished watching the Polls Center, you'd be a better person for it. 30 days to elections. Every week we will come to your constituency and have a conversation with you. We'll broadcast ABC in the morning from your constituency for everybody to know what is happening in your constituency. Look out for ABC News GH, and when you see us, get closer to us and speak with us. Today we brought you Front Story. We looked at the Parliament again. Tomorrow Parliament will be reconvening. Today Speaker will be addressing the press on the state of Parliament. However, ahead of that, MP for South Dai Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo has sued Speaker